It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
Hey, this a
Yeah. Did it like
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Watch, shit don't never stop. Stop. Stop.
No problem with it. Do it like
Stop. It's the flow that got the block hot.
no.
Hot. It's the flow that got the block hot.
No problem with it.
Hot. It's the flow that got the block hot. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop. Damn, there's a good. It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
Hey, this a
Yeah. Did it like
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Watch, shit don't never stop. Stop. Stop.
No problem with it. Do it like
Stop. It's the flow that got the block hot.
no.
Hot. It's the flow that got the block hot.
Medic! Scalpel. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this Gloria's Day.
And a friend.
You aren't duping the doctor. I mean, the doctors look into your eyes.
Jeez, and the fight is over! Michael Chandler! What did I tell you fools?
What's up, boys and girls? This is UFC lightweight Michael Chandler. I'm just telling you right now, if you don't go to YouTube and hop on the MMA Bet Surgeon channel, like and subscribe and ingest and digest some of the best UFC mixed martial arts and boxing predictions on the planet, on the internet, then you're doing it wrong. Appreciate you guys. See you at the top.
What is going on, people? At you for another week here, you know. Oh, just another one in the books. We had an absolutely sensational weekend. I think it pretty much lived up to, you know, a lot of the hype that we were casting about the card. And, you know, like, how can you not be happy with UFC 259? And it's
Well,
something...
you could even say the prelims exceeded expectations. Like,
yeah,
that start, it was
100%.
as hot as you could get. Pretty much as hot as you get. Was it 4 finishes in a row? 5 finishes in a row?
might have even been 6. Definitely
Something
5, though.
like
At
that.
least. Definitely 5.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was absolutely one of those weeks where, you know, we had a really good week and, you know, we're all going to keep looking to continuing that kind of success. We're going to definitely talk about the card, you know, some of the implications, some of the stuff that we thought about, but after we're going to kind of cut it up in the banter section this week, you know, as, you know, a little bit of a replacement, because, you know, there'll be something new. We always like to chop up the banter, and that's definitely something that's going to be coming Soon, people. Soon there will be something where we definitely just it's set aside just for us to talk about, banter stuff, what's going on in the UFC, because I don't think there's a better group of guys to talk about it with than the guys that are with me here, and including LJ. He's got the link. He will be here at one point, people.
Shout out Jay Blues in the chat.
Shout out Jay Blues in the chat, of course. Thank you for coming out. Thanks for showing out.
Yeah, especially you can't even take a week off, start talking about some of the stuff. Like this sport, this organization is literally all gas, no breaks. We have shit's always going on. It's awesome.
It's
oh yeah,
fun to be a part of. It's fun to be a part of. That's for sure. Because it's like I don't know. I can't remember a year where the UFC was like this, just loaded in you had just like a gun, like just fight cards going in the chamber, just blah 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 shooting out at us. Like it's something we haven't seen, and now we've got them stacking these cards with on the higher end. You know what I mean? We're not looking at 11 fights anymore. We're always looking at 11 plus, 13 plus. Most of the time, we've seen a couple cards now with 15. They look to try and get it to as high as that point now too. So more fights, more consistent fights, and more fighters on each card. It adds. It's huge frequency, and I'm sure all the fans love it because I love it. I love it. It's great. It's awesome. And I know we're going to get into it, like I said, after, because there's so much stuff. We could obviously talk about 259 for probably an hour at least, because there's just so much banter and the stuff that's come out of it now. There's been so many talks coming out of it and blah, blah, blah. We all know what happened.
Yeah, we could do an hour on, Aljo versus Jan easily. Like that is absolutely anybody that's been paying attention to those has been absolutely nuts.
It's been a social media firefight at this point between Piotr Jan and Aljo, and it's in Aljo and a lot of onlookers and a lot of people looking over at the fights, and it's been a bloodbath online, and it's not something that I like to see, especially for a guy like Aljo. We all picked Aljo to win. Did we pick him to win like that? No. Did we think he was going to be fighting a little bit differently up to that point? Of course we did. You know what I mean? Of course we did. We necessarily didn't think that was going to be his game plan. Was he up on one of the judges' scorecards? Yes. Can we only go by that at this point? Yeah, I mean, would Jan probably have won that fight if that didn't happen? Yes, probably. I mean, but we can't go yes, probably, and what ifs in this sport. It doesn't exist.
At the end of the day, there's all these hypotheticals. At the end of the day, we're just going to have to see the rematch, see what happens.
Exactly.
As soon as Aljo gets cleared to train, because at the end of the day, the guy isn't cleared to fight because of it's not like, oh, you can go fight next week if you wanted to. No, he's been medically not cleared to fight because due to the head injuries.
Also, I don't believe he was cleared of a concussion. I think the misunderstanding was his CT scan was clear, so there wasn't any bleeding or significant brain damage. Yeah. Which is fantastic news, but it doesn't mean he wasn't concussed.
Yeah. Anybody who wants to talk about shit about fucking Aljo, I'll just say to you, Peter Yan doesn't have to knee in the face. Let me knee in the face and then see how you feel the next day. Well, it's just as a little experiment.
It's a crazy
next day, not the next minute when you're expected to fight for your career.
It is a crazy kind of series of events. We're definitely going to talk about it later. We're kind of going to start pumping ourselves a little bit, little by little through this card, doing our work on this one. Because we got 13 fights here. We got one kind of added short notice. There was some kind of, some complications with Haqparast, his opponent. So now we've got a new man in, and it's going to be a scrap, man. It's going to be a scrap. We got Rafa Garcia in. And so that's, I mean, we've got UFC kind of, trying to fill holes kind of as they always do. Let's hope we can keep, a steady kind of 13 plus fights on this card, and we can, have a good night. I think we'll hop into the first fight here. Man, I think, Doug was kind of alluding to it. I was kind of alluding to it. Will this be a fight that, we throw some money on early? I don't know. I would think so. I got to look at the lines. Like I said, I never looked at the lines till we're doing this, people. We got a welterweight bout at 170 pounds here between Jason Witt, 5'10" with a 70-inch reach, and Matheus Semelsberger, 6'1" with a 75-inch reach. Jason Witt, 1-1 in the UFC with an 18-6 MMA record. Semelsberger, 1-0 in the UFC with a 7-2 MMA record. Jason Witt, 3 knockouts, 8 subs. Semelsberger, 4 knockouts, 1 sub. Jason Witt is coming off of a submission win over Cole Williams, in which he was, able to get that takedown slam early and shot early for Witt. Then he was looking to get his back. It was pretty much a fight in which we had a guy who was far less experience in the wrestling department. In Cole Williams going up against Jason Witt. Jason Witt pretty much just went out there with a good game plan, looked to get that slam, was able to stay on him in full mount for the rest of the round, land some big shots, cutting him largely over the eye right before the end of the first. Then in the second, he pretty much, just stayed in that half guard, got another TD slam to start, stayed in that half guard, and then ended up getting moving over after that initial, those first couple blows on the ground, and was able to get a head and arm choke. As far as Jason Witt, when he took on Takashi Soto, that was a short notice bout for Jason Witt, in which, Takashi Soto being one of these guys that is a very dangerous striker on the hands and feet, Jason Witt kind of came in there looking to press the action a little bit right off the opening of the fight, throwing a couple shots, and then pretty much going for a takedown, just getting absolutely dropped. It was just perfect timing by Soto. 1-2 right down the pipe, and then he wasn't even fully out, but he ended up getting finished with some, vicious ground and pound from Soto. As far as Semelsberger goes, we've seen him in his only, like I said, 1-0 in the UFC with a 7-2 MMA record. So his only UFC appearance is so far been against Carlton Minus, and this was kind of a fight, where it was like. We're not talking bad about Carlton Minus, but he's no longer with the organization. He wasn't kind of able to catch his stride, especially at a guy at 170. Originally, Minus was going to be one of these guys that was supposed to fight around 155. So I mean, that's beside the fact. In the fight against Carlton Minus and from a guy like Matheus Semelsberger, kind of what we see with him is very equipped on the hands and feet, able to throw some good shots, but. Does he force some of these shots? Yes. Like he looks to land some of these left hooks and right hands, and he's stepping in on the jab all the time. I'm sure more time now passing from his first fight. He's now gonna get that experience, get that confidence up, and have a better fight throughout, and probably in his second UFC bout. I'm expecting a great performance from him. But in that Carlton Minus fight, he was just kind of throwing a little bit hard, landing in that opening. First round on Minus, he was landing some good leg kicks, working the body well. He was, forcing pressure, jabs. He would throw that jab, left, right, hook combo, very good. He would just step in and out very well, backing him up. And Minus was actually in that fight moving very well. Like that's kind of what he needed to do to stay out of these shots, move very well. He in that second, he pretty much started heavy on the front leg, pressing, kicking that a lot. He ended up dropping Minus. In that second, and ended up taking the body triangle, looking to try and finish, getting the RNC. Wasn't able to get it. Minus was able to survive and fight the hands. Minus was then, landing some shots to start that third and kind of pick up some pace. He was then taken down by Semelsberger and continued to be, pretty much just wailed on and controlled on the ground. I haven't watched Richard Padishnuk versus Matheus Semelsberger yet. I'm not sure if I'm not 100% sure if I haven't really watched it, so I want to look at this guy's record a little bit. I want to kind of watch a couple more of those fights. I was high on Semelsberger the first time I kind of saw him and heard about him, and obviously watching that Carlton Minus fight, I was very impressed, obviously, but kind of a weird occasion, It's hard fight to call, in my opinion. I think it's definitely going to be more of a scrappy fight. I think both men, they're going to have to give it their all to win. I think Witt's going to have to look to take this fight to the ground, work from to either submit or land some hard shots, and then kind of move from there and work from there. Semelsberger is going to want to land the heavy shots on the hands and feet, look to kick the body, look to slow Witt down, and make him shoot for these takedowns where they're not set up and they're from a position where he can either score off of them or stuff them and score off of them. You know what I mean? I don't think Semelsberger's ground game is as heavy as Witt's, because Witt does have a very heavy top pressure, at least from what we've seen in a couple of his fights. I mean, there is a possibility too, because you see a guy like Semelsberger, a little bit bigger too. We could see some, but we know the stocky frame is kind of Witt is built for kind of more of these kind of laying and praying and then looking for a submission. He's had, I think, all of his one of them is a head and arm, and then the other eight of his submission wins are rear naked chokes. So that's kind of what the position he likes to get you in. He's not really looking to throw anything crazy or threaten anything else crazy other than that. It's a little bit more limited. I think Semelsberger, he moves a little bit better on the hands and feet, delivers some better strikes. I think this is going to be a matter of, if he can stay off the ground. A very, 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 very hard fight for me to call right off the bat here. I think I'm going to have to end up taking. Let me look at these lines too. Dan's got the lines pulled up too. Yeah, I'm taking Semelsberger, but it's a matter between, do I think he's going to be able to stop Witt, or do I think it's going to go to decision? That's kind of the question. Jason Witt, having never lost a decision, puts it into kind of, what I mean, or never, and having never. I think never lost the decision kind of goes into question. You know what I mean? A little bit.
Yeah, I've got Semelsberger too. I have him to finish the fight. I think this is a fight where Witt needs to get the fight to the ground, and if he doesn't, he's in trouble on the hands. I think Semelsberger catches him. I think you were talking about how Semelsberger kind of, as a bit of a wild, just comes in with the hooks. I think that'll be good enough for against a guy like Witt. I don't think his striking's super high level. I think it's good, but I think Semelsberger has enough power to knock him out unless Witt can get this one to the ground. He could, and I think he could get him down for the first round and go back and forth. I think this could be a second round Semelsberger TKO.
Yeah, I'm not too far off from you guys. But I'm not confident in it whatsoever. I think. He looked pretty good against Carlton Minus, but Carlton Minus, he's undersized and obviously doesn't belong in the UFC. Like, no offense to the guy, but certain people just aren't. He's not ready, and I think those two fights were just terrible for him, and like both fights at welterweight, right? This is a contender series fight too.
Well, the other one, no, sorry, the Carlton Minus's first fight in the UFC, well, the one against Semelsberger was at 170, and then he was supposed to have that 155 bout. Remember? And then they late short notice, fucking this guy fell out, and they got Christos Yagos, who was like, "Yeah, I'm fresh, boss. I'm 155. I can wrestle, Yagos, brother. You want to go 3 rounds? I'll wrestle you to fucking death." I mean, that's what happened.
But exactly. Yeah. Sorry. So Semelsberger was the first of the two, but either way, I think.
And that was at 160. I think that was at 160.
But even despite that, like there was some, like we did see a little bit of gassing from Semelsberger. Kind of later on in the fight, when Minus they have a little bit of the success, so like that's my only kind of concern. So
you're right,
definitely not going deep on this fight. Like I think, like as the surgeon was saying, we could definitely just see the heavy pressure from Witt. This could be a boring ass fight, a bunch of fence work, and if he's not able to just take him down, then either choke him out. And so I'm honestly like. Yeah, I'm completely. I'm not confident in Semelsberger, but he's probably my pick. I think that his just a little bit of his youth, size, he should be able to get it done, but a lot of risk here, so I wouldn't be going anything heavy. Let's scroll through some of these props here.
I would love to see here. Keep going through this. Rounds over 2.5. Fight give the distance.
Pretty much even odds for them to go to the Witt. Or sorry, like they both have 3-1 odds for to go the distance. Just him there. I don't mind Witt
finish odds.
I kind of like the Witt finish odds. I kind of think if he takes him to the ground, he could.
He might be able to. I don't think so though. I don't think Witt's ground game's that great. I think it's very basic, but it's good. I think it's definitely wrestling oriented, like knock you around, soften you up. Make you either take too much damage on the from me punching you, and then I'm gonna get you to turn over, and then I'm gonna take your back and choke you out. Obviously, we saw him get that head and arm choke recently. That was his first, submission that wasn't a rear naked choke. So take that as you may.
Yeah, it should be a pretty close fight though. I don't see if Semelsberger wins, he could finish him. Obviously, that's with the fact that he's never lost a decision. That's probably something good to look at. But either way, there's too many variables for an opening fight like this.
Agreed.
And pretty much, who knows what kind of movement we'll see. But Semelsberger will have to be the hesitant play for me. So I guess we're all three taking the burger.
Favorite. No, it's not the burger. It's the Jedi, remember?
I know, the semi-Jedi. I like the fucking terrible name. Whatever. Are we ready to move on to the next one here, sir?
I think we are, Lieutenant. I think we are. This is a card that's got, a couple. I think this is the next bout. This is just the kind of recently what I tapped it as today, the whole topology thing. So if they're in a different order,
fight? Yeah, I think
if it's in a different order, don't get too mad at me because it swaps around. They were swapping the shit out of it since the other day. Like the
I'm
first
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this is right.
Yeah, okay, so it's a women's strawweight bout at 115 pounds between Jinh Frey, 5'3" with a 65-inch reach, taking on Gloria de Paula, 5'5" with a 67.5-inch reach. Frey 0-2 in the UFC with a 9-6 MMA record, 1 knockout, 2 submissions. De Paula, first UFC appearance other than a Dana White Contender Series fight, in which she is 5-2 as a pro, 3 knockouts, no subs. She's coming off of that UD win in the Dana White Contender Series, like I was talking about, against Paulina Matheus. And in that fight, man, she showed some pretty good stuff. She showed that she could be one of these women here that, comes in and does a little bit at strawweight. What kind of the first thing that makes me a little bit hesitant as to if, she's going to be one of these, good enough and maybe like able to take on a girl like Jinh Frey is. She is a girl coming up from atomweight. I don't know how much people lay into that, but that has to be said. And the girl that she was fighting in the fight was also another girl that came up from atomweight in that UFC Dana White Contender Series appearance. So you take that as you may. In that fight, she started landing good boxing punches. She was, stuffing some takedowns early. Matheus getting kind of lit up and, pretty much saying, I do not want to box with you, especially with that reach advantage. She went in for a takedown. De Paula stuffed it very well. She pretty much looked for that choke. She's the one thing I noticed is she worked so slow from that position, advancing, just looking for that guillotine, searching for different submissions, took her time from there, softened her up, threw knees to the forearms, into the shoulders. It was very, very good, very impressive to, see that at least when she's in these positions, she's not worried and she's ready to, take her time, even though, girl, you look at her in her pro career having no submissions, you know what I mean? So you look at it and she was very, very close to be able to get that. She was pretty much back up to the feet after that. She was landing very good with the boxing. She ended up getting taken down. She was looking for some submissions, even looking out good off her back. She was able to, make her way back to her feet with threatening some submissions. She was able to kind of continually throughout the fight step in with her right hands. She kicked a little bit, but overall she looks very well rounded. Like I said, beautiful groundwork. She postured very well. Huge elbows in the clinch. She looked pretty strong, which is good. As far as Frey, she's coming off of a UD loss to Loma Lukbume, in which Frey was looking to clinch throughout that fight and then try for the takedown. Loma was just standing there picking her apart from range with good straight shots, good kicks, coming from a Thai boxing background. Frey was pretty much just trying to step in with her left hand, make some timing, get some space to land, trying to have some work there in the clinch, but Frey was able to be reversed by Loma, and Loma just really just framing, posturing with lots of elbows to the head of Frey. Pretty much in that later in that second round, you saw pretty much her getting landed on largely. Now you saw her getting landed on largely again in that clinch position, the same kind of elbows, framing just right across the face, very vicious from Loma. Frey very looking like the stats, the numbers showed it looked very helpless throughout those first 2 rounds, even throughout the 3, the numbers did not look good for her. She was able to, Frey was able to get a quick takedown to start the third, was able to pass into side quickly, look a little bit better, with that takedown game. But when Loma was able to get up, she just continues to, largely, walk into kicks and punches and, largely throughout the fight, just being outlanded, just being completely outlanded. I think I see Gloria de Paula being, the more active fighter, using her reach and length in her movement, to walk Frey into lots of shots, and even work in the clinch a little bit. I think there's a strength kind of deficiency a little bit there for Frey. I think that maybe even a girl like de Paula. That's why I'm not too worried about her coming up from atomweight. Obviously the extra weight just being a little bit more healthier, but even just then, like I see her kind of do get a little bit worked on by somewhat smaller looking opponents and stuff. And, it makes me wonder. So I think that Frey has the ability to trade, but I don't think she commits enough shots. I don't think she lands enough power punches to make opponents hesitate, step back, and, not, be able to kind of open up their repertoire on her. I think she's going to have to look to wrestle, but I actually believe that, DePaula's probably going to end up catching her in a submission. DePaula via finish is my pick, but I do have a feeling about submission. I think this fight's just going to be largely dictated all over. Maybe not in the first minute and a half or two when the girls are feeling each other out, but largely throughout this fight is going to be dictated by DePaula, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on DePaula. I have it by decision, but I think she has advantages. Her advantages everywhere. I think Frey's a decent striker. She's good. I don't see her having very many advantages, though. Like I said, you were talking about the clinch control that DePaula could have. I think that's probably where a lot of the work is done. In the striking, that's where that's really the only place I could see Frey winning the fight, and I don't see the fight taking place there. I think Frey's also inactive there, so DePaula would probably win the striking exchanges with her volume. I'd go with DePaula by decision just because I don't see her having the power moving up from atomweight to get a finish on the feet. A submission's an interesting bet. I'd like to see the line on that, but I'm going to go with DePaula by decision as my prediction.
Daniel.
Yeah, I don't think she should be that big of a favorite, but I think it's probably a bit closer. Like, I think maybe people are just more so focusing on the 9-6 record of Frey, but yeah, I'm probably leaning more towards kind of Dougie's saying. I kind of like the fact that the smaller girl, I don't think she'll be able to necessarily dominate the fight to the point where she'll get the finish.
When did she fight it out? Okay, maybe I'm getting bullshitted here. Sorry.
Did she not fight at atomweight?
Yeah, maybe I'm getting fucking bullshitted here. Like, literally, I listened to that in the commentary. Paul Felder fucking said that. Oh, whatever. True. She's never fought a fight at atomweight in her fucking life.
She hasn't?
Okay. Oh, well. So I just went through her whole, or at least in her pro career. Oh, not even in her one amateur fight. She only had one amateur fight. Yeah, it was $115. What the fuck?
Well, it's even where she's fighting though too. Where SFT MMA experience. I don't know. I'm not confident enough in her to take her at those odds. But she'll be my pick to win the fight.
What are the decision odds?
Here, sorry, I'll scroll down. .1, not bad. Still not fantastic though.
What's the? Can you go down to the finish, please? Do they? And they don't obviously just have submission yet. That's for later. That's not even there yet, is it?
Yeah. Be there on fight night.
Yeah, it won't be. It's not there yet.
Yeah, not too heavy on this fight.
Probably a good fight to stay away from, to be honest.
Yeah, if you're betting,
unless if we do see some good money on the submission, then well, obviously we're always looking for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I see it. She's very. I think.
And we've lost the surgeon.
Oh, that was quick. He probably just did his classic swiping back.
Yeah, I did the classic with my middle finger, with this finger, not even my middle finger.
I like that. A second before you came back and said I did the classic, Dan said he probably did the classic.
I did do the fucking classic.
Oh, you didn't hear me say that?
The exact words. He did the classic.
I did hear him say it.
Oh,
I see. Because he was pretty much he's probably just backstage. All right, let's move on to the next one. I think so that's back to back. Not necessarily saying consensus picks are the best thing. Those aren't always the best.
Usually we don't put too much money on the early fights in the night because they can tend to have
a
bit less clarity when it comes to the research on them.
Yeah, sometimes.
Obviously, a lot of these people coming off Contender Series, not having the level of competition, and it's hard to really gauge it. Yeah,
when we see top level guys, we know who they've fought, how they did, what their strengths are. When we're at the bottom, we're more speculating who's better at what.
Yep.
That's the difference.
Agreed. There's not as many, milestones and markers and shit we can look at. We got another women's fight coming right up here.
Do we?
Oh wait,
I thought it was Martinez.
Am I looking at the wrong order?
Dan's huge into Courtney, Casey, and JJ Aldrich.
Oh shit! Yeah,
you want to break this one down, son?
Yeah, it's a pretty good fight actually.
It's one of your fights of the night. That's what I heard.
I never said that. Slander.
Okay, sorry. I just gotta find it. It's like I said, some of the orders kind of a little shifted around for my shit.
Yeah, I was thinking of a way different fight though.
I know. I'm telling you, man. They always, chooch these orders around. Like I think I did mine earlier, so let's see how high up in the card it is.
Oh, the fight. Yeah, never mind. The fight I'm thinking about is not. I
think originally this fucking card. Yeah, here we go. We got a flyweight bout at 125 pounds here between Courtney Cast Iron Casey, 5'7" with a 67-inch reach, and JJ Aldrich, 5'5" with a 67.5-inch reach. Casey, 5'7" in the UFC, 5-7 in the UFC with a 9-8 MMA record, 3 knockouts, 4 subs. Aldrich 4-3 in the UFC, 8-4 in her pro career, 2 knockouts, no subs for her. Courtney Casey's coming off of a submission loss to Jillian Robertson, in which, we've looked at this fight a couple of times. We've talked about this fight before. It was with, throughout the opening rounds of that fight, Casey was kind of, being pressed, sitting early on her punches, knowing that her, avenue to success would be through striking on the hands and feet with a girl like Jillian Robertson. She was taken down fairly easily, and Jillian was pretty much able to sit, pass, and then pretty much sit on her, working for submissions and just working lightly on the ground, with about 4 minutes left for that entire first round. She ended up firing some good punches down the middle to start the second, but then pretty much got taken down again. The exact same kind of route took place. Casey was looking for things like, an armbar at some point, but not working. Pretty much landing in the third, a little bit, looking to land a little bit more as we saw, Robertson standing a little bit more. You see her defend one takedown, and it's not that great. And then you see her, get taken down right after that. And then you see 5 seconds right before the fight is over. She has her back taken and she is rear naked choked. As far as JJ Aldrich goes, we saw her coming off of a split decision loss to Sabina Mazo, in which JJ was circling, landing with her hooks, moving well. She was pretty much landing her left hand with little fat, starting to cut off in the second a little bit better. She was chasing a little bit in that first round, somewhat kind of losing that round to Mazo. Mazo, as we know, we've seen her recently. She's one of these taller women that definitely has the reach. She started to get cut off in the second, but she was being that more impactful landing person, definitely opening up the face of Mazo. We could see the bleeding from the nose and stuff like that throughout the fight. Mazo was kind of just being able to use that range, land some kicks, land some shots from range, dictate some of those exchanges where we see where we see Aldrich just kind of moving back throughout the fight and just kind of throwing. You know what I mean? Not really having full commitment with stepping in on her shots and stuff like that. In the clinch, she was kind of getting landed on with some shots, some high kicks in that third, and it was very, very close. It was a close fight. Like we saw kind of Mazo kind of take over the later half of that fight, and Aldrich started out looking a little bit better, probably winning the early rounds, but she ended up losing that fight, split decision to Sabina Mazo. A fight in which both women, they're more inclined to want to stand, trade shots, than implement wrestling. It probably leads me to believe it may go to decision. I don't know if either of these women have the power to get one of those kinds of finishes. I do think it's going to be a crafty fight in which it, kind of goes a little bit around as far as maybe there's a little bit of wrestling, but I definitely think there'll be a lot of clinch work. There'll definitely be a lot of stand-up work. I think it could be anyone's fight. I see JJ being the one that has more success in some of these exchanges throughout the fight, landing some more impactful shots. Is she going to get landed on with just as many shots? Obviously, she's not dealing with as big of a reach disadvantage in this fight. I do think that if Casey is punching and moving well, she can have success in this fight, so I do think this is one of the ones for sure I would stay away from. It's a very hard fight for me to call. I'd probably have to say JJ Aldrich.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. I'm not super confident in this one either, but my pick is Courtney Casey. I think this is, like you said, it's a super close fight. I think Aldrich's best path to victory might be the takedowns, though, because, like you said, Casey's big weakness is her takedown defense. But we also agree on that the fight's going to mainly take place in the feet. And I think the volume of Courtney and Casey is going to be too much for Aldrich. I think over the 3 rounds, it's going to show a bit more. If Aldrich does use the wrestling, the live bet king will be coming out, and I'll be betting on her right away. But I see Courtney Casey using her volume to get a decision win here. But again, close fight. It's going to be one of those could go either way. But I like Casey by decision, the underdog in this one.
I mean, I might be open to swapping, especially on some of these fights. Like even looking at these girls in the weigh-ins and stuff like that, I definitely want to see. I mean, I definitely want to maybe even look at some laters. I know I've watched probably all of fucking Courtney Cast Iron Casey's fights in the UFC just from them being slathered through some events and stuff like that. But I gotta go back and watch a couple more. I definitely want to watch maybe another Aldrich fight, but I know largely what I'm gonna expect out of both these girls, and I know that, you know, it's gonna be a matter of game plan too. I want to see if Aldrich definitely does come in and implement some of those takedowns. It would be interesting. Definitely be interesting. I could be swayed to pick Casey. That was all I'm trying to say. It's very close in my mind.
Yeah,
Dan?
well, again, in a fight when you got both girls going pretty much back and forth, win loss, like their last 4 fights, it's like this is pretty much as dicey as it gets. But I'm going with with Dougie. I'm liking the dog odds on Cast Iron, and I think similar to your prediction in the last fight, I think she could maybe get an armbar, slip her. This fight winds up on the ground somehow. Maybe I don't see her necessarily shooting a wide open takedown, but like if you like you said, we can see a lot of clinch work up against the cage. She gets some sort of trip, gets good positioning, it slips in the armbar. Ooh, I can see it. Cast Iron sub. That's my pick.
Okay.
Let's roll through some of these props here.
That's one of the most confident women's picks I've ever heard.
Not that. I just said how confident. How can it be confident when you preface it with one of the as dicey as it gets? Go fuck yourself, you son of a bitch.
So defensive, my goodness.
Oh, this is perfect. It was like,
okay,
go through it. Just go through it. I want to just read
I've ever heard in my
I just want to read.
Ridiculous. Casa, look at 6. Oh, the individual subs gonna be out.
Yeah, it's gonna be high, especially in that last one too. They'll be high. They'll be pretty nice. They could win us some money if we pick them right. That's for sure. I could definitely be tempted to go Cast Iron here. It's hard.
Let's see. Is there anything else you want me to scroll up to? Well, at the end of the day, if we have like these are the 2 women's fights, right? Like if we want to just maybe bet sub on both of them.
Well, there's the other women's fight too that not even
which one
we're not even covering.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
Angela.
That one's probably not gonna be a submission though.
Well, I'm just linking that. We'll talk about it, but I don't know if I'm going to break it down again. Doug, you were there too. The 3 of us broke it down a week ago for 18 minutes.
Which fight?
That's why
the Angela Hill fight that got pushed.
I was like, what other fight do we have here? Oh, no,
we already
have that.
We already did it, so I'm just going to link it. I'm just going to link it.
18 minutes on that?
Yeah, well, that's like the split, and that's the split. If you look at the split with the timestamps from the other video,
I think the odds shifted even more for Hill.
Really? Fucking right, they probably did. Yeah, it's probably it's probably a dumpster fire bet now. It's probably dog or pass odds now. We'll look at we're gonna look at it. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna talk about it for a minute, but we're not gonna break it down. We're gonna link I'm gonna put the links in it for the other video. I'm just gonna link that in the description when I do the timestamps tomorrow. Let's keep, rolling on. This is the fight that Dan was kind of, a little bit more juiced up about. Dan, is that correct? This was the fight you were talking.
Different. I was.
You're on some.
It was Betway because I'm looking at the odds here to pull these things up, and it got me confused. It had like Jonathon Martinez, Davey Grant. That was the third fight.
Yeah, no, that's what I had too. I'm lost here.
Yeah, you can't go by Betway.
But I looked at the official UFC thing. Pat's got it right.
Yeah, of course. Oh, it's pretty. Tapology usually is the most accurate.
Yeah.
I don't know. We had a couple weeks there, remember, and they were fucking me, and you guys were like, they're way off, and I
just used the UFC website, and it's got the same as what Pat's got.
True. I just clipped them all, whatever order they've got it in. Let's look at this lightweight bout here, 155 pounds. We were kind of talking about this a little bit beforehand. We got Nasrat Haqparast, 5'10" with a 72-inch reach, taking on Rafa Garcia, 5'7" with a 68-inch reach. Haqparast, 4-2 in the UFC with a 12-3 MMA record, 9 knockouts, no subs. Rafa Garcia is making his debut in the UFC. He's 11-0 in his pro career. He's got 1 knockout, 7 submissions. We're going to start with Haqparast. He's coming off a UD win over Alex Munoz, in which, that this was kind of a summation of kind of stepping up a little bit higher level in skill, looking a little bit better, able to stuff some takedowns that were thrown at him from Munoz. Munoz knowing that Haqparast being one of these heavy-handed guys that if you do swing with him, you can go down. He was just, consistently throughout the fight able to land some hard shots on the hands and feet. We do see him getting overcommitted with some of these punches throughout these fights. He just tries to throw them a little bit too hard and shifts them out of position. Kind of like what we saw in that Drew Dober fight. He sometimes tries to go for it a little bit too much and ends up getting himself caught. He has good power in his hands and feet, but he is largely flat-footed, and especially as time goes on, he gets more and more flat-footed. He does have relentless pressure, and his hooks are very good. His weaving's very good. Like his hooks and uppercuts, very fast and fluid. I mean, it's something that is very impressive, and that's why he is a guy that does have largely 9 knockouts. I mean, if we're looking at a guy like Haqparast, and like if you do go deeper into it, and you look at the Drew Dober fight, like I was saying, that was a fight in which, he got himself out of position, ended up getting countered, and ended up getting knocked out, then finished on the ground. You see him in his other fights kind of fighting some guys that, aren't as good, but even still putting up some wins, getting 2 decisions against guys like Thibaut Gouti and Mark DeCasey. I mean, it's yet to be seen here whether or not Haqparast is going to be able to, one day pick it up and keep going with the best of them. You know what I mean? And come out of this slump and maybe just put these 2 losses behind him and show kind of more of a well-rounded game. Because I think with some submissions, a little bit more wrestling, this guy could be a lot more dangerous. That's for sure. As far as Garcia goes, he's coming off a UD win over Umberto Benede, in which, he looked both guys very, very, very kind of slowed throughout that fight, throwing shots a little bit more lumbersome. It was a good fight from Garcia, really just chopping at the legs a lot, looking to land 1-2s, looking to land the hook, lots of boxing going on. He's from a Mexican style. I think he was partially a boxer at one point in time too. And I haven't watched a lot of Rafa Garcia tape yet, I will be honest. I'm going to come clean on that. I do need to do some more some more watching of that. He did fight a lot on Combate. It's all over YouTube, so I do need to watch some more on that because I definitely think that these lines might be, something I definitely want to take a stab at. It's a hard fight for me to call, especially now. I definitely want to see these guys on the scale. I want to see what this guy looks like, if this guy makes it. But man, it's kind of interesting. We got kind of some of these guys that come in, especially from different regions across the world. They get their shot. Maybe it's, I believe he was expecting to fight another guy coming into it. So we're gonna see what happens here. I'm kind of excited. Or no, he was the short notice guy, but I'm kind of excited to see, what we get out of this fight. I believe it's going to be a Nasrat Haqparast win though. I'm going with Nasrat Haqparast. Do I want to say knockout? I don't think so. I'm thinking decision. UD.
Yeah, I agree. I'm picking Diet Gastelum in this one. I think he's going to use the pressure in his heavy hands kind of to push Garcia back. I think Garcia hasn't met the UFC level of competition yet. I think it could take him a second, and in a 3-rounder, by a second, I mean pretty much the first round. If he loses that round, then that's a big disadvantage. If you lose the first round, you've lost 33% of the fight there. You got a bit of ground to make up there, and banking on him to lose the first round is enough for me to bet on Haqparast, and I think this one does go to decision.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I like that bet. I like that pick. I think it's a good pick. Dan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, we don't really have any lines on this fight yet, unfortunately, just because of how fluid all this.
What about
this stuff
Betway,
is,
sir?
What?
I mean, sorry, Bet365. No,
I don't think I don't know. Maybe Dougie's been able to find anything, but
I haven't seen any lines on this fight. I'm just seeing that it was. I just saw that it was made like right before we went on stream.
Yeah, so I'd like to see before I make a prediction. I'd like to see at least this guy on the scales or have a little bit more. More knowledge of it. But like obviously, I'm leaning towards Nasrat. Just obviously the experience, the gym, like coming in on short notice. But you never know when you got a guy like this who's undefeated, 12-0.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what the line is, and then if there's enough incentive to me really to go do some research on this guy, I'll go to check out some fights. But probably definitely between now and Saturday, I'll be watching something. If it's a highlight reel, if it's whatever. But definitely like to see him on the scales, see how he looks. Because what weight does he usually fight at? Is he moving?
I think he normally fights at the same weight. I don't think he's moving up or down. I don't think.
155. Yeah.
He stayed at this weight.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd like to.
Yeah, I think we'll have another look at that one more during the live breakdown.
Oh yeah,
because it was just announced a bit late, so we'll get a better idea on that one later. I was
looking to see if it's on here. I don't think it's on here at all. Oh. No, I don't believe it is. No, it's not.
Well, you'll just have to get some official predictions live after we've.
Yeah, of course. That happens from time to time. Not a problem.
Well, especially when it's like this.
Of course. Here we go, folks. We got a pretty good bout. I think this is. It's got a little bit of a more what I would call kind of an interesting scrap. This is the sorry, all this fucking order is all fucked my thing. I gotta go like up and down like crazy. Here we go. We got a bantamweight bout at 135 pounds between Rani Yahya, 5'6" with a 68-inch reach, taking on Ray Rodriguez, 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. Rani Yahya, 11-4 and 1 in the UFC with a 26-10-1 MMA record. No knockouts, 20 submissions in his pro career. Ray Rodriguez, like I said, 5'7" with a 70-inch reach, but 0-1 in the UFC, 16-7 pro career. 3 knockouts, 8 subs for him. Yahya is coming off of a draw to Enrique Barzola, in which, he was coming in, landing some punches, pulling guard, looking to take that back. He's really one of these guys that obviously with 20 subs and no knockouts, if you watch some tape on him, he does have a little bit of handiwork, but he's not really much of a threat on the hands and feet, especially if he is going up against a striker. He is, somewhat at a disadvantage. He can clip you, but his scrambling is very, very, very good. And kind of what we saw even in that Barzola fight, very, very well throughout the fight, trying to maneuver throughout positions. Barzola was pretty much overextending on the feet. And he was able to kind of get a takedown with 4 minutes to work in that second. He was reversed with a minute left, looking for the neck, and then he ended up getting taken down by Barzola before that second round ended. In that third, he was landed on heavy at the end of the round. At the end of the heavy, landed heavy at the end of the second round. In the third round, he was he started looking tired. He had been gassing for these takedowns, just looking for submission after submission after takedown, looking to return his opponent consistently. And he was partially dropped with some shots as he was going in for a leg lock, as he was going in, and then he ended up taking a leg lock, trying to, threaten the leg, but he was just landed on in that position. Barzola ended up dominating that round, landing well, pretty much getting a 10-8 in that round because he ended up dominating the ground exchanges, no shots landed by Yahya, and, Barzola was able to stay on top and work the body and work consistently throughout. As far as the Ricky Simón fight, that was a UD loss for Rani Yahya, in which, opening exchanges, he was ended up coming at Simón a little bit with the hands, looking to try and land some good shots. He ended up having a couple good shots, but then soon after, he's shooting him for a takedown. No success on that. We see a guy like Ricky Simón, a little bit higher level wrestling, very good with moving on his feet. He ended up getting dropped multiple times with some shots. Ricky Simón just able to move out of the way very well, not forcing any shots, just letting them slide out. Like the head movement, the defensive, the standing defense isn't that great for Yahya. Especially when comparing it to his ground ability. He just wasn't able to get anything going, wasn't able to get it landing much, and, a lot of his shots being slipped and him being, countered. He, trying to throw hard shots and land, but he's not having much success with it. And then he ended up coming on a little bit better throughout that second half of the fight. But even with both men having similar shots landed, you just see more solid shots, more damage being dealt by Simone. Simone pretty much able to, throughout that third round, dominated as well. Ray Rodriguez coming off a submission loss in which it was a short notice call to fight Brian Kelleher, in which, we saw Rodriguez pretty much shoot him for an initial takedown right off the gist, probably 10 seconds less than that of the fight. Is when he shot right off the opening of the fight, and he ended up getting submitted right away in a guillotine for Brian Kelleher. As far as the Tony Gravely fight, that was a knockout loss in which, he was trading kicks while moving, but he was just getting stunned in some of these opening exchanges by Gravely. He ended up just getting, pushed back with some strikes and shots, and Gravely was ended up, able to shoot, get some takedowns, work the body well, work some submissions very well. Able to be taken down to the feet fairly easily, but Rodriguez does have some reversals in his bank, but there's just not the highest level of that. But Rodriguez is one of these guys that does have some very good grappling abilities as well, and he can avoid submissions very well. So it is going to be kind of a harder fight. I think this is one of those ones, it's really going to make you think a little bit, because it's, Rodriguez, he's showing glimpses of looking good at certain points in times. Then he's gotten finished in the Contender Series by guys, you might not even call. It's just when you get finished in the Contender Series, it's very hard to make that, call to come in on short notice, and then you get subbed quickly. It's not very, very good look as far as this point goes. It's very shaky because we haven't seen much of you yet. Yet to prove himself with the UFC and what he has to offer, and even more on a general level. I think he's probably going to look to use his wrestling at some point, and I do think this ends up on the floor. I think Yahya is probably going to, grapple with him, end up trying to throw some strikes. He's definitely had a lot more cage experience, a lot more octagon experience. Is he going to be able to, submit a guy like Rodriguez? Man, it's hard to say. I do think Rani Yahya is going to win this fight, but man, it's such a hard fight to call for me, man. It's such a hard fight to call. Another one of these hard ones. I think it possibly could be another submission added to the notch for Rani Yahya, if not a decision.
Yeah, Patrick, it's Constrictor Team for a reason. Yeah. You saw that. We gotta go sub, especially when. Sorry, excuse me. Two of his last three losses have being by submission.
Yeah,
I just think that I think just Ronnie's gonna be chasing that thing like an absolute dog to a bone, like just like it was like. Also, when you got guys at a certain caliber as far as being like grappling and MMA.
Yeah,
wrestling and whatnot, and they got a guy like Calico too, and you see that clear path to victory. You're just gonna go right for it. Obviously, anything's possible as far as what happens on fight night, and obviously it's Ronnie's a pretty big favorite, but if we can get some good value on the submission, I think we go that route.
I don't think there'll be that great value if he's the favorite already, or if he's a heavy favorite. I want to see the odds.
Big one.
Well, you don't know. Vegas doesn't always key it.
Key these odds up, Dan. I want to see them.
Yeah, no, I like it by submission. We're also looking at a guy who's moving down in Rodriguez, so who knows if he's going to be drained and just gas and tap. We've seen that a few times. So yeah, I definitely like Yahya by submission here.
I could honestly, now that I see this going the other way, I don't know what the. Wow. I don't know if this guy's gonna have the. It's like I could easily see.
Yeah, they're pretty confident running. Like what they're thinking running. Yeah, yes, finish.
I might hedge this one just because I'm not 100% sure, and I could see fucking Rodriguez.
Is it worth the hedge this early on this fight?
Yeah, I could see.
I think so.
Yeah, 100%.
So you said by decision. You said.
I said by decision. I have submission in my notes as well. It's close. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Wait, sorry. For Ray Rodriguez, I mean.
Oh, if Ray Rodriguez is going to win, I think it would probably be a decision. But I feel like he could even finish him late because I feel like if Yahya gasses and he gets reversed out of one of those positions,
he gets a lot of submissions himself. That's the thing. But like he's going to put himself in one of those vulnerable positions. I don't know.
No, I know. So. It's not. I don't really think that'll happen. Like it's really hard. It's really hard to say. very hard to say, but I do think that Rani Yahya is the path in this one. I am picking Rani Yahya. Could I maybe end up fading it closer to fight time and fucking around with some other stuff and some hedging? Yeah, for sure.
Also, Ronnie's record's kind of deceiving. The 26-10-1, a lot of those losses came earlier in his career. He's had some pretty good runs. Only, obviously, obviously that draw on his record, but only 2 losses in his last 10 fights. So.
Mm-hmm. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I just don't think Ray Rodriguez is of that caliber.
Agreed. I think we're good with this one too. No.
Yeah, I think we covered it.
Okay, beautiful. I think the next one up here we got is we got the first Canadian up here. Beautiful. I mean, it's gonna be one of those nights. We got 2 Canadians technically on the card. Call it. I'd say 2 for sure. So it's gonna be one of those nights here, folks. We got a featherweight.
I'd say 2. Who'd say it differently?
Well, he's technically wasn't born in Canada.
So why is that? So you live in Canada? What? He lives in Canada.
I don't know. I don't know.
Let's just break.
I don't know. That's
Canadian,
works, bro. Is he? Is he like an? I guess he probably is.
He's been living in Canada for the last 10 years. I'd call him a Canadian. You don't need like. Come on.
I don't know, man. Some people are nuts.
Fight. What?
So they said some people are nuts. Featherweight bout at 145 pounds between Charles
Jourdain
Jourdain
with nobody.
5'9" with a 69-inch reach and Marcelo Rojo 5'8" with a 71-inch reach. Jourdain 1-2-1 in the UFC with a 10-3 MMA record, 7 knockouts, 3 subs. Rojo first UFC fight, 16-6 in his pro career, 8 knockouts, 6 subs. Jourdain is coming off of a draw to Joshua Kulabau, in which in that fight, he was landing on the legs well early on. He ended up shooting overextended, ended up eating a shot, almost getting guillotined in that whole process. It was a very kind of hectic, crazy start at the beginning there. He was almost able then to reverse out, get a guillotine on Kulabau, at which point, Jourdain was looking to, work well and end on top. And then throughout that second, he was able to end that second on top. Off of, we saw Kulabau again trying to go for another submission attempt, and he was able to, reverse that as well. Jourdain kind of looking like slowing down. Good output in the second, but definitely the first 2 were his, his more so rounds of more shots, his rounds of higher output. Jourdain was laying some good shots and stumbling Kulabau early in the third. He ended up continuing to press, jabbing well. He ended up landing more good leg kicks, sprawling well when he saw Kulabau trying to take him down again. He was trying to get the neck quick, hopping in a half guard. Jourdain was able to hurt Kulabau, doing some damage from posturing up and then looking for an armbar, but not able to get it. In the Andre Fili fight, that was a split decision loss in which both men were looking to land some hooks to start. Jourdain was swinging and kicking big to the body. Jourdain was pretty much stepping in, ended up dropping Fili with a huge overhand right after being hacked away with the kicks to the body and the leg. Fili was able to step in and get the same takedown as that first round ended. He was able to land well too in that while he was on top. Fili was able to start the second with kicks, stepping in with some punches, just having his leg kind of chewed up a little bit. By Jourdain, and in that fight we saw we saw TD we saw another takedown for Andre Touchy-Fili late. He was just timing Jourdain throughout that fight. Even in that third, you got another takedown to start that third round, and was able to get a mat return. Jourdain was looking to land, but just getting taken down and landed on to the end of that fight, and it was very very close because a lot of the exchanges on the hands and feet, we saw Jourdain dictating them, a lot of the kicking throughout that fight. We saw Jourdain winning with those kicks, him kind of having the sporadic kind of in and out. It was definitely nullified all that movement with the takedowns from Andre Fili, and it was good work by him. As far as Rojo goes, we've seen him just recently come off of a knockout win in 2019, in September of 2019, over Victor Hugo Madrigal. In which, he had good leg kicks to start the bout, both men kind of respecting each other's power. He started to step in, land some hooks and jabs. He was able to, drop him drop him to sleep with basically an open-handed left hook. It almost looked fake. If you guys watch it, it almost fucking looked fake. It looked like he was getting like stalked and slapped, but the stalked and slapped just absolutely turned his lights out. He didn't even have to go put up any follow-up shots. The guy was just out. Like it just ruptured his eardrum or something. I don't even know what happened. It was crazy. The John Castaneda fight versus Marcelo Rojo was a submission loss for Rojo, in which, he was pressing well, but landing and choosing his shots very well, not throwing a ton of shots, and that was kind of a disadvantage to him. He was kicking to the body and legs very well. He was using his lead jab and hook to come in and then land hooks. He had some good takedown defense through the opening part, and then in which he was taken down partway through the second round after being landed on with a good little combo. He was able to work his way back up, but he ended up getting tripped by Castaneda. Castaneda was able to then work to get the opening scramble in the third, and ended up starting to work from there, getting that submission loss, getting that head and arm choke from there. It was a very good fight. I think I would have to think this fight is going to be a great back and forth scrap. I think both these guys consistently, we've seen in their fights, they brought it to the octagon. Obviously, Rojo being a UFC newcomer, taking on, now a changed opponent, previously being matched up with Ronnie Barcelos. It's interesting since he's, mentioned he hasn't fought since September of 2019. Definitely a tough call. Obviously now stepping up an opponent, stepping up to the biggest stage in the world, being the UFC. I would say Jourdain has definitely fought, the better opposition to this point. And, to add it in, hasn't been finished in his career. I think it's likely we see a bit of a slowdown and some stamina issues for Barcelos, especially with Jourdain fighting for, what argue could be his career in the UFC. I think Jourdain's going to have to leave it all out on the line in this fight. Absolutely go for it 1,000%. I think he should be trying to be able to lead some of these exchanges. I think Barcelos does have some very good power, though, and some beautiful stand-up technique. And we have seen some wrestling and grappling improvement from him, but who knows at this point with not seeing him since September of 2019. Definitely another hard fight to pick. I think I'm going to have to end up picking Charles Jourdain via finish.
I agree. I've got him by the TKO. I think he's an explosive striker against an inexperienced, kind of tentative guy. I think he can catch him and get the fight done. Decide the distance.
Daniel.
Yeah, I'm all on board with you guys. Obviously, Air Jourdain on the way. And I think, the inexperience of, that combined with the inexperience of Rojo, or not the inexperience, the inactivity of Rojo, sorry. But yeah, inexperience too, and you consider yourself, only just coming out of Combate.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Yeah, and I think, like the surgeon's saying, that pressure, it's a big fire under your ass. You can't be getting 1-3 in the UFC, or 1-3-1.
Yeah, I can't do it.
But I thought he won that. Last fight.
Same. Very close, but same. Yeah, I would probably agree.
Yeah, they're not great value on him, but by finish. But
I might take it. I don't think it's that bad, brother.
It'll wind up in a parlay. Well, it's only.
I don't think it's that bad. I don't think that's as bad as we think. Because if we look at it here, and it sounds fucking.
Could go the distance though. How many finishes has he gotten? It's 2 wins have come by finish, or it's 1 win, but other win came by finish. I think I'm looking at his weird win before the UFC, but like 3 of his fights in the UFC have gone the distance. So I don't know why.
That's my issue. I think it could go the distance pretty easily.
That's why I think there's not terrific value.
You're right. What is it? But it's just like, man, like.
And when this guy's tend to lose, his last 3 losses are by submission. But it's probably some crazy Brazilians. So.
Yeah, but it's him gassing too. He gasses in all those.
Yeah, but I think guess Air Jourdain will probably wind up in a Team Canada parlay because Surgeon had me all twisted saying, "Well, I might say 2 Canadians."
Oh wait, no, I'm wrong.
May say 2.
I fucked it up. No, it's 3. I'm fucked up. Yeah, I'm fucked
3
up.
3 Canadians. So we'll be saying one of my favorite things ever, which is a Team Canada parlay.
Some would say 2.
Gotta love it.
Don't be a fucking bitch. Fighting out of Canada. He's representing us. And you question.
I'm not. It's a joke. It's a joke from earlier.
You fuck.
It's a joke from earlier. Okay, let's keep going.
We need to look at anything else here? Or are we
no, I think we're good on that.
I think we're good to go to the next one.
Yeah, yes,
J Blue's cooking up some stir fry.
Chefing.
What's in it?
Okay,
Chicken
here, so
strip?
people... Shut the fuck up for 5 minutes. Okay, so people, I'm going to make a quick advert here. This has already been done by the three of us. We'll talk about it. We'll pull up the lines and look at those real quick, but we've already broken this fight down. I will have it linked in the description along with the timestamps of the other fights, and that is that. As far as it goes here, Dan, you can feel free to shoot up the odds, and we will go through it. We've already broken this fight down. It was supposed to be on 2 weekends ago, not last weekend's card, not 259, but the card before that, the Cyril Gane versus Jairzinho Rosenstruck card, but it got pulled off due to medical reasons and then rescheduled and pushed to this card. So, yeah, we're all pretty confident. I think. Sorry, Dan, didn't mean to do that. We're all pretty confident. I tried to take this away. We're all pretty confident that we think that Angela Hill's going to win this fight. Yeah, and the lines just shifting
pretty much like sum it up. The fight having happened previously, where it was pretty close, but in that time, Angela Hill has only blossomed into an even more well-rounded and mixed martial artist, and we've seen her have some really good success as of late. Just kind of
scroll down for a second, because this might be just a completely just get out of here. Yep. Get out. Yeah, we're done. We're done looking at this. We're no value in this one. See ya, folks.
But it is. I think the line is the same though. I don't think.
Is it?
I thought it steepened a little bit.
No, I don't know. She was always ridiculous. I think we almost
go back into the old video.
Like a 4-1.
It's in the old video, so we'll go back. Someone can go back and check it at one point. Or it'll be in the link, obviously, right? It'll be with our old predictions, right? We'll have the old line and shit up there. We'll see all the old shit. On to the next one here real quick. This is a banger fight here. The dentist. I mean, gonna be an interesting one. Definitely gonna be an interesting one. I gotta find this one. I'm all the way back. Here we go. We got a middleweight bout at 185 pounds here between Eryk Anders, 6'1", with a 75-inch reach, taking on Darren Stewart, 6 foot, with a 74-inch reach. Eryk Anders, 5-5 in the UFC with a 13-5 MMA record. Darren Stewart, 5-5 in the UFC as well with a 12-6 MMA record. Anders, 8 knockouts, 1 sub. Stewart, 7 knockouts, 1 sub. Anders is coming off of a UD loss to Krzysztof Jotko, in which, Anders pretty much does his typical kind of thing. It's more of a trotting forward, looking to throw big, heavy shots. You see guys, if you have a little bit more movement ability, he ends up in the fight like against Jotko, getting landed on with leg kicks as he's coming in. He pretty much just gets flurried on, timed coming in with a lot of these shots. He's able to kind of in that fight even realize that he's got to get a takedown. So he starts pressing to try and get this takedown. He's not able to keep him down. And then throughout that fight, like you see him, winging shots, getting landed on, then looking to clinch and looking to slow down Jotko because he can't deal with the movement. And then he's trying to, continuously look for takedowns throughout that second round. He had about 3 attempts, but every time he even raises a leg, he's just either looks not confident with fully taking the man to the canvas and downing him, or he's just not able to get it. He wasn't able to get any of those takedowns. Anders is pretty much, not mixing it up. He's pretty much just continuing to walk down Jotko in that fight, and that results in a UD loss. As far as the Gerald Meerschaert fight, that was a split decision win for Eryk Anders, in which he was, rocking him down right off the bat, kind of similar style. Meerschaert kind of ended up looking very slow in that fight, starting slow at least. Meerschaert kind of ended up flourishing in the later half of that fight once he started waking up, getting hit with a couple shots, which, like Dougie was saying earlier, you throw away that first round, it's a very hard fight. It's an uphill battle, especially when, it goes to the judge's scorecard, and then you have a split decision, right? One guy even saying you won it. So throughout, like I said, he ended up pretty much getting dropped early against the fence and let up by Anders in that first round. So you could arguably even make the argument, 10-8 first round. Anders was, timing him well, landing some hard shots. Meerschaert just having success in that last minute of that first round, starting to slip and land. You could start and, get that range, get it all kind of moving well. Anders was just, trying to crash him with hooks throughout that fight. And Anders pretty much, you see him start slowing down, getting a bit more sloppy as he gets largely doubled in strikes throughout the second. And then in the third, you see, him coming forward again, winging in, landing more strikes, but, getting rocked, closing down the fight. He landed a couple more strikes in that third round. Could you argue and say that, Mearshart probably won? Yeah. Would I maybe make the argument that Mearshart maybe won? Yeah, probably. As far as Darren Stewart goes, he's coming off a split decision loss to Kevin Holland, in which Stewart was trying to close the distance and land some right hooks and then look to get the clinch. He ended up rocking Holland, both men trying to land and work each other in the clinch, but Holland kind of having a little bit more success, and then, the roles shifting throughout. Holland was able to stuff Stewart's takedown earlier in that fight, in which Stewart was able to catch the kick, get a takedown, and start landing to start the second round. Stewart was pretty much pushing together well and landing some leg kicks, making up for the reach. But, he was on these scorecards getting doubled up, but landing a lot of these significant strikes and, having some of these successive takedown moments and, abilities in the clinch. Stewart was able to, defend against a takedown and almost get a guillotine on Kevin Holland. We saw some crazy, knee stomps, some good, lot of good leg kicks, like those front knee stomps as he's on the feet from a guy like Darren Stewart, really just trying to slow the movement of Kevin Holland down, especially with a guy with those long limbs. We even saw Stewart getting a slam takedown right before the end of that second round. Stewart was able to get the takedown to start the third, but the grappling from Stewart, it was good. It's just like he wasn't able to fully keep him down. Stewart was able to finally, have some ground success, chaining together another takedown there and then keeping Holland down, working with some heavy shots and elbows in that last minute of the fight. Unfortunately, losing that fight very, very, very close. As far as the Maki Pitolo fight, that was a submission win for Darren Stewart, in which, combos being let go early, Pitolo pretty much just circling, Patolo's landing some shots. He's landed some shots on Pitolo. Not much setup for Stewart, but just, very conscious of all the stuff that he kind of throws. He was looking for the takedown and then was able to get that quick guillotine. I see the output and the movement being huge in this fight for both guys. Both obviously having more success in their careers with their hands. We've seen the wrestling and the clinch work being imposed by Stewart when he needs it most. Anders, on the other hand, I would say is showing a reluctancy to want to go to the ground and finish his takedowns and keep his opponents there and show us he can do that. Though largely this fight could be a stand-up, the wrestling of Stewart is far better in my opinion, and also his stand-up and his kicks, very well mixed in. He can do a lot of damage with his legs and especially to the body. I think he normally does have the tendency to swing a little bit wild like Anders, but his movement isn't as sluggish and forced. I think that the body work and the leg work is much better. I see the timing of the exchanges for Stewart being better handled, and I see Stewart winning a hard-fought decision in this one.
I completely agree. I think those exchanges, I think Stewart's going to be a little bit sharper, a little bit quicker, and he's going to land cleaner. When they come together, they, like you said, they both throw wild strikes. I think Stewart's a little bit less wild, and he does have the wrestling advantage if it comes to that, but I don't think it will. I think this is going to be largely contested with the hands. Just got to go with Stewart because I think he's a little bit sharper. I think it goes to decision because I think they both have they're a little bit tentative sometimes. And I think they're both going to know the threat that's across from them. So I'm gonna take Darren Stewart in a decision.
Dan?
Yeah, I'm same boat. I think I just don't think Eryk Anders is just of the ability on the feet, and I don't see him being able to dominate Darren Stewart in the grappling or the wrestling department. I just don't see how he'd be able to implement this sort of game plan that he needs to win. And honestly, we only really see him be able to implement it against guys who are, let's be honest, pretty shit. Like rest in peace, Veniscus Mojea's UFC career. Like, I guess Eryk Anders enjoyed him being in the UFC, but he's pretty much probably it. Like, fuck. It's tough to, I think we got to put some respect on the fact that Darren Stewart's probably the closest guy to getting the Kevin Holland train off the tracks last year, but only got as close to split decision, but obviously super close. And like as you're saying, had some success, some takedowns later in the fight, but no, yeah, I just think he'll probably be able to. I just think Anders is probably too tough to get finished.
Yeah, I'd say
It'll
so.
probably be
What are the decision odds? Can you scroll down there?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think that Anders has ever been knocked out. I think he's been submitted. No.
It was I was just looking at. It was a third round.
Not great, not bad.
Third round retirement against Thiago Santos.
Santos is a monster, though.
Yeah, but that was for something else. He broke his fucking arm or something.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, we know.
He broke his arm or his hand or something. He like blocked
probably
the kick.
His toughness
and broke
is one of his best attributes.
I think he blocked a kick and broke his arm or something. I think that's what happened. He broke his forearm or something.
Does kind of ring a bell.
Checked the kick and broke his forearm, I think. Could be wrong though.
Yeah, Darren Stewart by decision's the pick. I think there's decent value on that line. Nothing special there.
Yeah, it's probably like a 1 unit play, maybe nothing too crazy. But I'd probably be throwing Darren Stewart in some parlays.
A lot of single unit parlays coming this week, people. We'll talk about it in the
single unit parlays or single unit plays.
Single unit bet plays. Sorry.
Okay.
We're going to talk about it in the banter when we get down to the banter. Let's keep on rolling here. Let's keep on, moving down the train here. We got another great fight popped up here. This is, a guy that we've seen now. We were talking about him highly, just a couple of weeks ago. And actually, if for everyone that was true fans that's here, for everyone that's a true fan that's here, this was and I'll put the camera on. This was my main event for the card. So that's a key to when that's a little joke to when this card was. It was on the Volkov Overeem fucking card, people. That was the fight that that was literally the last fight I remember before going, watching Manel Kape fucking lose and going, fuck, and just going, I need some water. I can
see how that performance by Kape puts you to sleep.
Literally, that was the last fight I watched. The last fight I watched on that card was the Manel Kape fight. So we got a flyweight belt at 125 pounds. Between Matheus, Nicolau, 5'6", with a 66-inch reach, 2-1 in the UFC with a 15-2-1 MMA record, 4 knockouts, 5 subs. Taking on Manel Kape, 5'5", with a 68-inch reach, 0-1 in the UFC with a 15-5 MMA record, 9 knockouts, 5 subs. Matheus Nicolau is coming off of a UD win over Felipe Efren, in which, he's kind of got this wider stance, looking to land some leg kicks and move. He ended up shooting him for a takedown, not able to get it, but he was, throwing some good check hooks. He pretty much shoots in bursts, looking to circle, looking to stay at a distance, and then come in range and shoot. Great, beautiful time double leg takedown, but not able to keep him down. He was trying to secure the takedown, but not able to, but transitioning just great and ended up cutting him open. Just not scared to wind up on the bottom and just look for legs at the same time. Like he's just constantly moving around, flying through different positions, and that's kind of what makes him, I'd say a little bit more dangerous than your normal guy, or definitely one of these more dangerous guys. He ended up hurting Efren with some leg kicks to start the third, and ended up just pretty much just working him on the hands and feet from there. Looking at another fight, the other fight I chose to look at. And that's kind of another fight that I'll probably look at a couple more fights for this guy, because this is definitely going to be another hard fight too. I didn't look at the Alain Gabriel dos Santos fight. That was in a different organization. I ended up looking at the Dustin Ortiz fight, which was his the fight before the last fight that he had in the UFC before being released, in which it was only, I believe, he only fought 2 fights in the UFC. Yeah, he only fought 2 fights in the UFC before being released. 1 win to Luis Smolka, and then 1 loss to Dustin Ortiz, in which he got knocked out. So in that fight, he was landing that leg kick to start, very light on the feet, moving well side to side, looking to land some of these shots. He ended up getting dropped with a head kick as he was blocking it, and then rained on. It was just one of those kicks he ended up fully blocking to, but just eating it, the high kicks, just the beautiful kicking from Dustin Ortiz was able to put him out. Manel Kape, like I was saying, we saw him recently take on Alexander Pantoja recently, like about 2 weeks ago, more than that, 3 weeks ago, something like that. Constant head movement in and out with some level changes, not really landing much throughout that first round. Very, very lackluster, almost looked like he was a deer caught in the headlights a little bit for that, or like the pressure was really getting to him. He ended up getting moved down on, landed on, getting just Pantoja just going out there looking to be the aggressor throughout the fight, landing leg kicks, landing punches. Manel Kape more looking to try and select shots, kind of be very accurate, but not throw nearly enough to win a fight, especially when your legs are getting hammered like that. Kape ends up kind of, starting to come forward and land, have a little bit more of a successful round. Manel Kape was also able to get a takedown before the end of the second, but just very close. He was able to set him up well, but not being first in enough of these exchanges to win him this fight. And then leading into the third, he ends up at that point even having more significant strikes and better combos. He even had a takedown at that end of the round. It's a very, Pantoja does, but it's just, you see a guy like Manel Kape looks like he's getting his, a little bit starstruck in that fight. I don't really know where to put it. Maybe he's been going against guys that, we have very much, overranked as far as being guys that could definitely fight in the UFC. But as far as when we're looking back a little bit even further, I'll just go over it once again. It was a fight against Kaya Askar. It was a decision loss. That was the fight. So I guess now he's officially coming off of 2 losses in a row, in which that was his first fight at flyweight. Heavy movement. He had a wide stance, switching, looking at angle, and land some shots. He was able to drop his opponent with a flurry of punches, and he does punch well in the clinch, but he was able to get taken down and look for guillotines, and he kind of does show a slowing down throughout these fights. But even in that fight, even in these other fights that we've seen, he's shown to want to throw shots and want to get in exchanges, but not to the point where he's as inactive as he was in the Pantoja fight. It's very weird. It's a super hard fight to call. Both men bringing similar diverse skill sets to the table. Nicolau being first brought back into the UFC or being released by the organization in 2018 following that knockout loss to Ortiz. Since then, he's gone 2-0, and we're seeing him take on Manel Kape, who is just recently coming off a UD loss a month ago to Alexander Pantoja. It's a difficult fight to judge because I would think that, Kape would like to get back in the win column, especially coming off a fight. And, we saw him look cautious, tentative, not really opening up until later in that fight. Could have been jitters, could have been who knows, not really the right game plan. It's going to be interesting to see Nicolau, where he comes to stand with Kape, whether he comes to stand with Kape and take him down or trade punches. Both men move in and out very well, so I'm expecting more of a firefight with this one. It's going to be very close. I really don't know how to call it, but for some fucking crazy ass reason, I got Manel Kape bringing this one home by decision.
I'm going against you on this one. I got Nicolau. I think Kape's turning this one around quickly for someone who, I think it was just mental was his problem last time. He's got the talent to strike with these top guys. He knows this. So I think he's trying to turn around quickly, maybe go, okay, I know what I'm in for now. I know what I'm doing. But maybe he just needed to sit back and relax, get another full camp in, and prepare for another full fight. I think Nicolau might be able to put the pressure on him. I think it's going to be a close one, but I like the guys who are more active, and Kape wasn't active last time, and it pissed me off when I bet on him, so I'm going to fade him this time.
Agreed.
I can kind of have a bit of a...
Oh, they got Kape as the favorite, too.
Shared kind of Dougie's sentiment a little bit, not wanting to get burned by Manel twice, but I just think that I think we can chalk. I think maybe it's. Fuck. I don't know. I really don't want to bet on Manel again, but I think he might be able to get it done. And a guy at the caliber that's way lower than his the guy he saw in his UFC debut. I think the combination, the fact that you can fight. Obviously, he's not fighting in a small organization or against bad opponents. I think our breakdown previously talking about his caliber to date. I don't think that necessarily goes out the window. I think that still applies, but the UFC is a whole different caliber, right? Even though it's only a fight night, it's not some crazy pay-per-view or anything
especially
like that.
Especially against Pantoja too, right? Like, wasn't that
it's a guy who is a dark horse
rescheduled bout though? Like, I'm gonna look that up here. You keep going.
Yeah.
That was right. He took Pantoja on short notice. No.
Well, he was originally scheduled to fight Rogerio Bontorin.
Bontorin, like I
and
said,
then he got rescheduled once for Pantoja, and then so I think he was on ice on UFC contract for like over half a year. So I think this may be his opportunity to get back on track, and it's kind of crazy, but I think he may be able to finish him.
Yeah,
I think if you get finished by a guy like Dustin Ortiz, who isn't necessarily a finisher, I think the UFC they signed this guy for a reason. And this guy's got charisma. You can sell this guy if he has the wins to back it up.
Yeah.
And the UFC may be like, okay, maybe we throw this guy too deep in the waters, even though Flyway's not very deep. But
and when you win the Ultimate Fighter too, right? It shows something, right? Like, it's huge for your shit, right? It is.
Yeah, but I'd say the fact that he has been finished previously, I just think I may take a stab of it, but let's scroll down the props here. I don't think it's terribly great value.
There's not great value.
Yeah,
on
or
it.
2.5. I don't mind.
Manel by decision 3.75. Really, they really don't think that Manel is going to take this the distance and win. Crazy to me.
3.75.
Wow,
It's pretty nuts. I think it should be a bit closer with between decision and finish. Yeah, I may take a stab at decision.
That's what I think's going to happen, but
I think we could see something crazy. Like the guy's like obviously doesn't like the fact that he took that first loss in the UFC either. It's not a good first impression. It's hard to get that taste out of people's mouths. But like, if he goes out there and he gets a nice finish, then it's game on.
We're back in the running, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, we'll keep our eye on that.
I'll be interested to see what the round odds maybe are. Come fight night, maybe there's some good value on the first round or something crazy, but
first round would be probably where your money's at too.
But I'll probably am I gonna let Manel
because it's
ruin some parlays for me again? Probably not.
He's absolutely not going in any of my parlays, no matter what.
Man, this guy's a hell Manel Kape. He's gonna come.
Yeah,
I was high on him against Pantoja.
We all were.
I'm just salty.
We all were.
It may be like a fool me once.
Hey, maybe you can make it up.
George Bush line. It's like fool me once. Oh wait. Oh yeah. No, what is it?
Me again.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it. I don't even know. Yeah, let's keep on fucking flying through these crazy bouts.
Is Martinez Grant next?
Yeah, I believe so.
This is a good fight.
Yeah.
I believe it's like this was one that's like all the way down my thing. That's like all in wrong order. Could be wrong. I think it is. I think it's down here. Yeah, here it is. We got a bantamweight bout at 135 pounds here between Jonathon Martinez, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach, and Davey Grant, 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. Jonathon Martinez, 4-2 in the UFC with a 13-2 MMA record, 7 knockouts, 2 subs. Davey Grant, 3-2 in the UFC with his 12-4 MMA record, 2 knockouts, 8 subs. Jonathon Martinez is coming off a UD win to Thomas Almeida, in which we see both men kind of starting out landing leg kicks early on. You see Martinez checking some good leg kicks, a big weapon for Martinez since we've seen him debut in the UFC, and I was one of these guys, and I think Dan was there. We watched his debut in the UFC. I'm very high on this guy since. And he's got the very powerful weapon with that left leg and his right leg, just able to throw a lot of good kicks. Martinez was able to, jab well, landing some good hooks. Obviously landing that good high kick, mixing it up from going body, head, which is something he loves to do. And of course, incorporating the leg in there as well. He's very patient, but he does have a lot of pressure, doesn't force any of his shots. Martinez ended up getting dropped with a hook as both men land, but Martinez pretty much just popped right up and continues to, land with the jab and pressure. Some would even say it was maybe even a stumble. Martinez was able to, sit on some hard shots in the third round and just throughout that fight, landing well throughout, pretty much over landing Almeida, even in a fight with Almeida being a guy that can, kick as well and do that kind of good work. We just saw how good Jonathon Martinez is getting with those kicks. It's just, it's something that's getting very good. As far as the Frankie Saenz fight, that was a KO win in which, Saenz was working to get that clinch right off the bat, looking for the takedown, but not able to. Martinez was just able to land, kicks throughout that, putting hooks on those kicks, and just good leg kicks. He's just largely outstriking Saenz throughout the fight, throwing lots of knees up the middle, lots of shots up the middle, landing hard to start the second round with good kicks and shots up the middle. You see Martinez sprawling again and getting out of there. It's looking very good. It's just something that's been constantly building through him throughout his UFC career. He's really, pushing him down, stepping him with lots of body work, sitting him down, ends up sitting him down with the head kick and then landing some huge shots. He ended up dropping him again and almost finished him with the head kick. And then pretty much in round 3, Saenz pushed in early right off round 3 and pretty much got knocked out with a knee right up the middle. As far as Davey Grant goes, he's coming off of a knockout win over Martin Day, in which he was landing some range kicks but not finding his groove as much. Davey was kind of winning those early exchanges against Martin Day. Martin Day, kind of being a little bit, looking more to force some of these punches and shots out. Both men using some punches well, and especially Davey Grant using his punches well, getting hit with some shots, but not many. You see him kind of, you see a guy in Martin Day, not really having as much success, but then able to fucking land that massive right-hand counter on Grant, dropping Grant on the canvas. Martin Day was also able to get a takedown slam before the end of the round and work a little bit. Davey Grant, though, ended up moving a little bit less. Both men end up moving a little bit less and exchanging in round 2. You see Martin Day a little bit more flat-footed. Davey, trying to, pick his shots, really put the pace on Martin as he sees him slowing down. You see Day kind of walking down Grant and both men boxing in the pocket. Grant winning a lot of the exchanges. Then there's a huge combo in which Day gets rocked and stumbled around. He then takes an elbow and gets taken down. An armbar almost from Davey Grant, in which in the third round you see aggressive coming out in the third, able to kind of land some good shots. He ends up getting caught with both men. As both men are trading, he ends up getting caught with a hook. And it just getting knocked out cold with 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. Davey Grant does have that kind of power, and of course Martin Day does kind of, really go out there and either gets knocked out or knocks people out. As far as the Grigori Popov fight, that was a split decision win in which, he was using long kicks, a little bit more of a long stance to start the fight, kind of kicking from range, hacking up the body, hacking up the feet, kind of a slower pace, but moving, kind of landing that takedown, really looking to land it at the right time. Working well, but, of course Popov able to get back to his feet. Davey Grant was kind of, throughout the second, landing some good shots, then shooting for more takedowns. Popov throughout that was able to kind of, search for Kimura. Grant moving out of it, passing back to taking hooks. Very good scrambles on the ground from Davey Grant. He's very good at that. In the third, you see Davey kind of searching for that takedown, but he ended up leaving his knee in a bad spot. So you see Popov kind of looking for the knee bar. You see Grant pretty much, reversing out of it and then working from there throughout that fight. It was a very good fight. It's a hard fight in my eyes. Another one because, the cardio wrestling and grappling of Davey Grant is very good, and he can make it a wrestling contest, but at this point, Martinez is just looking so calm. He's becoming so well-rounded as far as a mixed martial artist, as far as a guy stepping into the UFC and doing what he's done so far here in 6 fights. He's really come a long way, and it's just... his striking's very nice. I think his kicks being that major weapon for him. Obviously, Grant does possess the power to, turn the light switch off at any point in time on the hands and feet. But I just don't think he's going to be able to hit Martinez like that. I think Davey needs to be setting up his takedown shots. If it starts getting dominated on the stand-up, if he's not setting up these shots and shooting these shots from a little bit further out, as we've seen in other fights, he may get caught, may get landed on with one of those knees. I am picking Martinez via decision. But I could see Martinez, hacking that leg up and maybe even stopping this.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say Martinez by finish. I think he's better on the feet 100%. I think Grant needs to get this to the ground. I think Martinez is going to be the bigger guy in there because he's fought up at bantamweight, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So I like the bigger guy to be able to keep it standing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he keeps it standing and then he can... use that striking advantage, try and get Grant out of there.
Dan?
Yeah, I'm hesitant towards the finish only because we've only seen Davey Grant finish via sub, but as the surgeon brought up those lethal knees, if we see Davey Grant go for a sloppy takedown, we could see something lethal. We could see something lethal.
Yeah, right up the
pipe. On Saturday night. We could. And even I'm kind of want to add that I think he won that at UO fight. So in my mind,
yeah, I know, yeah,
we got a guy who's on a 5-fight UFC
Yeah.
winning streak in the featherweight division. So, but obviously that's we can.
I agree with you too. I agree.
But yeah, it's one of those close ass split decisions that Yule's been able to scrape away with those long ass arms. But
yeah, let's keep looking at these.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what Martinez KO TKOs, or like maybe see what the round bets are. But yeah, not a ton of value on Martinez, but I think he gets it done pretty solidly on Saturday night.
I would probably
we see those slick hands.
Yeah,
slick hands that work.
The kicking's a beautiful thing for him though too, right? Like we've heard how much.
It's just so. It's just. But I think he's able to mix in the kicks well. But like
you remember first, I think when he made his debut and he was an AKA guy and Cormier was commentating and we were watching it and Cormier goes, "It's one of the hardest kickers we got at AKA, just rocket launchers coming out of his legs." And I think he ended up. Now I got to go back to it. Now I wanna make sure I'm not gonna.
It's not a bad parlay piece, to be honest.
Fuck this story up.
1.33. Like,
but
there's a few guys at this spot, like around this 1.33 range on this card, and obviously at their own, like they're not, you don't love to bet on any sort of straight up or anything like that, but piece a few of them together, you could get a nice little maybe either 2-1 parlay or a bit better, because like obviously, honestly, the last couple of weeks we've had a ton of super close fights. We honestly haven't had that many big favorites as of late, but
I know, yeah, especially in the last week, right? The last week was more of a lot of even shit, but like, let's keep rolling through here. We're making very good pace. We're doing as we kind of normally do.
3 fights left, don't we?
Yeah, we're doing it. We're rolling through this beautifully now. It's like clockwork now.
Machine.
Yeah, here we go. We got the other Canadian here. Second Canadian, sorry. Other Canadian. It's gonna fucking kill me. I'm sorry, I gotta scroll all the way up. Like I said, that last fight.
What's his? Where's he born? Latvia. What's that flag?
We got a featherweight bout at 145 pounds here between Dan Ige, 5'7" with a 71-inch reach, and Gavin Tucker, 5'6" with a 67-inch reach. Dan Ige, 6'2" in the UFC, 6-2 in the UFC with a 14-3 MMA record, 3 knockouts, 5 subs. Gavin Tucker, 4-1 in the UFC with a 13-1 MMA record, 4 knockouts, 6 subs. Dan Ige is coming off a UD loss to Calvin Kattar, and that main event, I'm sure a lot of us saw it. It was 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. Pretty much throughout that fight, he came in with a high guard, looking to land, obviously close that distance, looking to work the body, looking to use some leg kicks. Obviously against Calvin Kattar, a guy who uses his boxing and his length so well, he definitely kept Ige at bay for a lot of that fight. He ended up sprawling, looking for some takedowns, but was stuffed. Largely pressed throughout the first couple of rounds, being landed on. Obviously hard time for him finding his range throughout that. In that second round and even later on, we saw kind of, more patient in the second. We saw Ige, not having his reliable shots to land, somewhat landing that step and rear shot, but you don't see him having as much confidence as that fight kind of buried on. You saw both men kind of landing power before the end of the round, but all the pressure, all the shots basically being landed, all the judges see is Kattar stalking Ige around the octagon. Ige was chopping the legs well, but getting pressed and cut off very close to the third. He ended up looking for the takedown to start the third, and looking to get the takedown off of it, but just unsuccessful. And then throughout the fourth and the fifth, even in that fourth, you see a little bit more domination for Kattar. He's just landing these good shots, but then even in that fifth, you see Ige definitely looking tired, wearing a lot of that hard work and a lot of that damage on his face, and Kattar pretty much just able to grind out that UD win over him. As far as the Edson Barboza fight, that was a split decision win for Dan Ige, in which he was coming out aggressive, landing hooks, looking to be aggressive from all angles, landed on with the right hand from Barboza in motion and dropped. Barboza looking to finish but not able to. Ige ended up recovering and starting to work the body. Ige was just missing with some huge hooks throughout that fight. He ended up getting landed on and partially stunned, but coming forward. Second, he ended up coming out swimming, looking to put some shots on Barboza and landing a couple of leg kicks, really coming out with a lot faster of a pace. He was moving well, using the clinch work, using the knee to the body and some body kicks. He ended up looking for a takedown, but not able to get it. And the second time, he ended up getting rained on by Barboza before ending the second. In the third, Barboza ended up having a slight bit more success on the hands and feet, but ended up getting taken down with a minute left, and he was able to kind of work with some shots. Ige was from that position. As far as Gavin Tucker, he's coming off a UD win to Billy Quarantillo, in which he was landed early on, but being pushed, kind of being pushed around the octagon by Quarantillo to open up that fight, looking to land the low kick and the right over the top. Tucker was able to land a good trip takedown and land some good kicks. He was landing good in different ranges, some close knees and elbows. He comes out in the second and was landing. He was mixing up to the body and started to take over with the shots, so that knee up the middle. He had that great timed takedown. He's got relentless pressure in that second, and he's able to just push shots, look for the clinch, look to shoot for the takedown. Gavin Tucker's one of these relentless guys, very well rounded, has some very good jiu-jitsu skills, has good wrestling as well. As far as the Justin James fight, that was a submission win. We did see Gavin Tucker get tested, him getting put through some adversity in his UFC career. They started out striking, trying to land some power. You see James trying to rush in like he normally does, looking to land these big shots. Tucker was moving well, avoiding most of them, and not being out clinched too much, but they were moving throughout that first, and he ended up getting dropped by a 1-2 as James as he he got up, he got blitzed, he almost got put in a guillotine. It was so tight. You saw Gavin Tucker really push through adversity to reverse and get out of that position. In the third, he was pretty much landing some good 1-2s and getting some kicks. He ended up cutting up Jane's using some crisp boxing and some step-in knees. He was really hurting Jane's to the body. He ended up rocking Jane's with a step-in knee to start the third, and then getting the takedown, the body triangle, and then the rear naked choke following that. These guys both high level of skill, obviously. You've seen, they're both guys who grapplers, not afraid to mix it up. I think the pace of both these men is something that, they both rely on, in which, they both possess that amazing cardio. You can ask the question, is it going to come down to heart? Is this going to be who's going to be able to impose their kind of game, their grappling, their striking? Ige's usually at the wrong end of reaches, but so is Tucker. So it's going to be a close night. It's going to be a nice fight because they're going to be similar in reach as well. I think Ige is going to look to start to move in and out to land, but it's really going to be a matter of working the body and the leg kicks in this fight and slowing your opponents down. I think that the wrestling advantage will be there for Ige, but very close. I think I see some of the pace, the range, and the shots being unpredictable. But I see a lot happening in this fight. I see a lot happening from both guys. I see both of these guys exchanging throughout the fight. I think it's gonna be a crazy fight. Oh man, my mind tells me in this one to definitely pick Ige, because it's just Ige seeing definitely the more experienced guys. He's coming off, one of the top guys in the division in Calvin Kattar. Obviously just edging out Edson Barboza after that. And you look at Gavin Tucker, he hasn't seen nearly as close to, that same level of competition yet in the UFC. You could make that argument, right? So it's right off the bat, you could say, fuck, like it's definitely one of those fights in which, for me, I'm going to end up probably picking Gavin Tucker, but I think Dan Ige is going to win. I actually think Gavin Tucker is going to finish Dan Ige.
Finish Ige?
Yeah.
I think you're crazy.
I don't know about that. I don't know if catching him. I don't know if he can. I don't know, catch him. You'll have to catch him really good. Like fucking, unless you're subscribing to the theory where like he took the amount of damage that he took in that Kattar fight, took something away from his chin. Because if you're saying that, I could maybe agree with you. But if the same guy with the same chin fights Gavin Tucker, I don't. As much as I'd love to bet on Gavin Tucker, and shout out Ryan Wilson in the chat, welcome brother. I don't think that I just don't think he's got what it takes to squeak it out over 15. I think Ige is just a bit quicker with his hands, so we'll be able to mix it up better on the feet. Classic. I know Dougie likes him. How beat him with the output. I think that's how he gets it done. Like that's
what I was gonna say.
You can beat Edson Barboza over 3 rounds. Like, even though Gavin Tucker is getting these finishes in the third round against some of these guys, up until that point, it's not necessarily an easy night for him. He's not out there handling some of these lower ranked guys in the featherweight division. And I think if you're making a leap up to a guy like Dan Ige, who obviously he's getting this matchup because Ryan Hall fell out, I think that I just think that Dan Ige's got the experience, he's got the speed, and he's got, if he needs it, the grappling ability to win this fight.
Probably right.
I agree. I give Dan Ige the edge all over the place. I think it definitely goes to a decision. But yeah, I like this Dan Ige line a lot. I think this is probably my play of the night. Would be Dan Ige by decision.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hedge it. I won't go against the Canadian this time, especially what I saw after in the last time.
I'd like to, but doesn't he also train at Halifax MMA? Isn't that gym not the greatest?
I don't know where he trains.
Well, yeah, there's different theories for everything, right? There's sometimes that if you have your own kind of smaller camp where you thrive there.
I mean, it's worked for him so far. I would just. I mean,
could definitely see
it's
you
a big
guys
step
winning this
up
fight
in competition against an experienced fighter.
It's true.
It would be a big win for Gavin Tucker if he could pull it off. It would definitely change his standing in the featherweight division for sure.
For sure. Should you bet on Gloria to Paula? Yes.
No, that's the thing. If he wins this fight, he'll be getting be him versus Ryan Hall for that next fight night slot or something like that. Maybe even earn himself a 5-round fight if he's able to look impressive enough. But
well, Ryan Hall needs to fight. Period. I don't think he just comes back from the layoff he's been on to a 5-rounder. I'd like to see him fight anyone.
Snatch Dan 50K's knee anyway.
The wizard.
Honestly, though, the more I think about it, the more I think Dan Ige is going to win. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be so close. That fight's going to be so fucking close. The Ige
especially over 15
Gavin Tucker fight is going to be so close, I think.
Especially over 15 minutes.
We could definitely be arguing after that fight for sure. Which is good, right? We'd rather be arguing than fucking sitting around being like, "Oh yeah, a bunch of blowouts all night." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is good, especially higher up in the card. That's definitely what we want to see. Let's probably keep this ball rolling, and then we're working our way through. We are almost done at this point.
Pat, you want to just address Ryan Wilson's question real quick about DePaula?
I kind of did. I said we're all betting on DePaula.
Yeah. Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't hear
I said
that.
we all took DePaula. I actually have DePaula winning by a finish. I think looking at the submission prop, we're going to take a look at the submission prop when we get a chance to. It's not out yet. I think that actually has some more value on it too, because she doesn't have a sub yet. I love sometimes even just throwing a couple bucks on a girl that has no subs on her pro career yet, because because the value could be they could definitely be totally underestimating it. And I do think her jiu-jitsu is very good, especially if she ends up catching her opponent in transition and something like that. She's very good at working out of those positions, but she could get the finish too for sure. But we are all betting on Gloria DePaula. That's for sure. I think Doug's got her via decision, right, Dan? Right, Doug? Sorry.
I was betting on her.
Yeah, I had her by decision.
Yeah.
I think I said I was staying away from it. But
yeah. No problem, brother. No problem. We're gonna hop into this co-main event slot of the evening here. This is kind of another kind of exciting one here. We got a light heavyweight bout of 205 pounds here between Misha Cirkunov, 6'3", with a 77-inch reach, taking on Ryan Spann, 6'5", with an 81.5-inch reach. Cirkunov 6-3 in the UFC with a 15-5 MMA record, 4 knockouts, 9 subs. Spann 4-1 in the UFC with an 18-6 MMA record, 4 knockouts, 11 subs. Cirkunov is coming off a submission win over Jimmy Crute, in which, he was able to land the body kick pretty much twice and then shoot him for a beautiful double leg takedown. He ended to work to pass into side control very quickly once getting that takedown. He ended up looking for that crucifix, quickly stepping into full mount. Multiple explosions from Crute, but Cirkunov was able to just, take the shots and sweep throughout a lot of submissions, and then was able to sweep through submissions and eventually get that submission that he was looking for. I believe it was a head and arm. As far as the Johnny Walker fight, that was an opening fight in which we saw the opening exchange of that fight was Johnny Walker pretty much, shooting a flying knee, timed perfectly over the jab of Cirkunov and just catching him and then just finishing him right from there. As far as Spann goes, we saw him also take a knockout loss to Johnny Walker in his last fight, in which he's looking for head position throughout that fight, actually looking to slow the fight down a little bit, knowing Johnny Walker is as explosive as he thinks it is. He's looking to try and clinch. He ended up dropping Johnny Walker with a left hook and then looked to jump on him and finish him. Wasn't able to do that. Some would say he might have, overexerted himself throughout that exchange and maybe got a little bit too excited. He was then able to drop him again, shooting him for a takedown and eating tons of hammer fists as he was trying to shoot in and get this takedown against Johnny. And basically, it's like hammer fist, and Walker pushes him down a little bit more, puts a couple good more hammer fists on him, and he was pretty much out. As far as the Sam Alvey fight against Ryan Spann, that was a split decision win in which we see, him almost able to lock up the standing arm triangle early in that fight and going for it, maybe a little bit too much exerting himself. He was able to pretty much walk Sam Alvey down throughout the fight, looking to land hard power shots and shoot for takedowns. Not able to have much success with the takedowns against Sam Alvey. He was able to step in and land some of those hard shots, keeping him against the fence. He did start looking visibly tired as that fight went on, and we saw Sam Alvey kind of, really turn it up in that third round, kind of possibly hurting Spann in that third round, kind of partially dropped, looking for a submission to end that third, just showing to be very tired. You got two guys who have the ability, opposing their wrestling game, also have the ability to stand up and trade. We've seen Cirkunov and Spann both recently fighting Johnny Walker, and Cirkunov, you can see after getting caught early in that fight, he went into his next fight after, saying recently he'd been falling in love with the stand-up. He knew it was definitely smarter for him to take the fight to the ground, especially against the guys a little bit less experienced. He's able to scramble very well, use heavy top pressure, and make you drain yourself trying to escape and having the ability to catch you in transition. For a guy like Ryan Spann, he's definitely explosive on the ground, definitely has the ability to move through lots of these positions. I see Cirkunov highlighting some of these problems and looking to take this fight to the mat and use his submission games. I think that these exchanges are probably smarter for Cirkunov. We've seen we've even seen that when you add a little bit of mild grappling in some of these fights against Ryan Spann, and they start going the distance, so say Cirkunov doesn't get anything early, we start him getting tired, and that's maybe when, even more you can start opening up and having a little bit more reluctancy to trade with a guy like Ryan Spann. In this fight, I mean, fuck, I think it's kind of crazy here because we're figuring out, we're piecing together the puzzle. I've taken all 3 Canadians regardless. Fuck the Canadian parlay, I've taken them all regardless. So I'm taking Misha Cirkunov.
I agree with you. I got him by decision in this one. I think he's going to put on a full mixed martial arts display. I think he shows off that he's better in the wrestling. I think he shows off that he's got a little edge in striking, but I don't think he wants to play with that too much with a guy as explosive as Spann.
Especially early.
Yeah, I think for the most part, he controls him. He puts the pressure on him, tries to keep it on the ground or in the clinch in a position he controls, and he's safe. Neutralize Spann's offense and get a clear decision win.
Yep. Dan?
Yeah, I'm definitely same boat as you guys. I think that Cirkunov has the clear advantage in this fight. I think he'll, as the surgeon has highlighted it as of late. Well, you've seen him say, "No more fucking around. I'm not here to take any more of these stupid knockouts against some of these guys." And I would definitely wouldn't even put Spann on the same planet as Johnny Walker in terms of explosiveness. I think he's been given some pretty easy opportunities in the UFC to get some sort of streak going, to get the ball rolling. His only really solid wins, like against Nogueira, but like at that point, it's a Nogueira we didn't even really want to see in the octagon. So how much are you putting into that? Like, I guess Devin Clark would probably be, I think in my opinion, his most impressive win, because I think the guy he would beat in Contender Series wasn't really impressive in any fashion. Was able to go out there and catch him with that guillotine pretty instantly after dropping him with a nice shot. But we've seen a lot of holes in this game. We've seen him get gas as the fight has gone on. We've seen him lose some of these exchanges, and I think you guys have already highlighted he'll see that. We see an intelligent fighter in Cirkunov, and I see him getting the submission early, if not round 1, round 2. If maybe Spann's able to put off enough of an effort against the clinch and get some underhooks, but I really don't see that happening. I don't think that even if he's training his wrestling all camp, like I don't think you're going to be able to survive in the clinch against a guy with the judo ability of Cirkunov and the size. Like Cirkunov's a big boy. Big bulky guy. Yeah, he just looks like a grappler. Has one of those forms, but I don't mind that value on the Cirkunov decision. That was 6-1. Wow.
They really think that Ryan Spann's going gas night, or he's going to knock out Cirkunov, or he's going to knock out Cirkunov.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6-1.
Could be some value there for sure.
Definitely.
I'll definitely throw a unit at that.
Oh, I'll be putting some. I want to see what the submission line's at too, for sure.
Yeah,
but it's not going to be
fight night. It's not going to.
There's definitely a couple subs tonight on this card for sure that we're keying in on.
I hope we get the bet your way.
At the end of the day, I'm happy because
we should.
I think Sherman ended up winning on that over.
He did. We talked about it.
Over 2.5 subs.
Yep.
I was getting greedy with the 3.5.
I didn't even end up making that bet. I didn't have enough time. I was dealing with.
I had a bet on both. I wound up winning like 250 because I bet both of them.
Just dealing with.
What do you mean? The 3.5 didn't hit.
I know. I bet a bit on the
1.5
over 2.5, and then a bit on the over 3.5.
Oh, you said that much on the.
I think they were both plus money, so I didn't make very much. I just made my return back on the 3.5, and then like a quarter unit, maybe not even, not much. On to the main event now, though.
Yes, yes, it's a good one. All business, like we're talking about this weekend here, people.
Not the one we originally we hoped for, but
no, definitely not.
Sometimes, especially for. Well, I'll remember the name Muhammad.
Exactly right. This is
blessing in disguise.
It's kind of a beautiful thing too, right? That the UFC is able to kind of have the ability to do this kind of stuff, and I kind of get into that. We got a bout here at welterweight. Man, this is going to be a scrap. We got Leon Edwards coming in at 6'2" with a 74-inch reach. Belal Muhammad, 5'11" with a 71-inch reach. Leon Edwards, 10-2 in the UFC with an 18-3 MMA record, 6 knockouts, 3 subs. Belal Muhammad, 9-3 in the UFC with an 18-3 MMA record, 4 knockouts, 1 sub. Leon Edwards coming off a UD win to Rafael Dos Anjos, in which, he's in and it's to be stated.
Sorry. Rafael Dos Anjos.
Rafael Dos Anjos. I think I did. I didn't say Rafael, did I?
Oh, yes, you did.
I didn't pronounce the hard R like Rafael the Ninja Turtle, did I?
Yes, it was.
Shut the fuck up, man.
So I had to. I was about to have to smoke my bowl, about to spark it up. I had to interject.
Edwards was pretty much timing the beautiful body lock.
Covington.
The beautiful body lock takedown and working to start passing. Able to start keeping that heavy pressure on Dos Anjos. Dos Anjos being a squirmy guy, being good on the ground as well. You see, Edwards looking very good with that wrist control, keeping that wrist locked, able to keep Dos Anjos in a position he wants him in. He ended up getting pressed, trying to land some counters. Edwards was looking to get that takedown once again, looking to work from the clinch. He's picking these good entrances to go for takedowns, go for clinches, look for entrances to throw shots. He pretty much ended up diving in for a leg at one point with no success. Winding up in a halfway is Edwards, but he ended up getting back on his feet. At this point, he's cut RDA over the eye pretty significantly, and he's starting to his shots are starting to flow very well at this point, coming with ease. He's hitting that flow state. He's able to stay out of the range from a lot of these strikes and a lot of range from a lot of these counters. And none of his shots looking forced. As far as the Gunnar Nelson fight, that was a split decision win. He's looking to step in, land with that elbow, both guys looking to clinch early. Nelson trying to get that clinch, trying to really wrap him up, slow that movement down. Edwards is able to, pretty much back up with the hook, looking to control the body and posture. He ended up getting a takedown. Gunnar ended up, forcing these clinches, walking Edwards to the fence. You see Nelson overextending on a bunch of these, on a cross that he's trying to throw at Edwards, and he pretty much gets countered and dropped by Edwards at that point with the left elbow, almost finished, in which you see Edwards pretty much throughout the rest of that fight looking strong in the clinch and able to reverse and manipulate Gunnar Nelson in that third round. As far as Belal Muhammad goes, we're seeing him coming off of a UD win over Diego Lima, in which Lima was able to, you had Belal Muhammad, be able to, control most of these striking exchanges, walk down Lima throughout, landing a lot of the kicks. Obviously you had Lima landing kicks himself. He was, Belal pretty much just walking through these throughout the fight, some being very significant, just going right through them. He was able to use good wrestling, apply good ground pressure, and work from a lot of these different positions, just showing how well-rounded he is. His punches always come from very good position, and it's just a lot he can fall back on to win a fight, especially against a guy like Diego Lima, we didn't see come on. We hadn't seen fight in a while as well. So Belal's kind of taking out these guys that have been a little bit inactive for the last little while. As far as Lyman Good goes, the fight against Lyman Good, that was a UD win in which Belal was getting pressured hard in some exchanges. He had good fast punches. He was landing some good takedown shots, moving well throughout the fight with his kicks and punches, creating good angles as he's getting pressured. He gets clipped against the fence, but he just rolls out of it smart. He got dropped and hurt bad with 2 huge hooks, and then he ended up looking for a takedown but not able to get it. He ended up getting pieced up and moving into the third. His shots ended up looking a little bit slower in that round, but it wasn't really a factor. Good couple of takedowns in that third, and ended up getting the late one and taking the back, possibly giving the win in that. Not much damage taken though. Like he didn't deal much damage on that last that back take. It was a very, 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 very hard fight against Lyman Good. Obviously Belal just coming at it with more accuracy, more frequency. I think a lot of variables definitely go into this main event. I think it's super interesting and inspiring to see as a UFC fan. You always, we can always talk about this, but you have the opportunity in the UFC to flourish in different positions, regardless of being, the selected fight that you were supposed to have. There's always an opportunity, jump up positions that you can just further your career significantly, and not, of course not every fighter has a chance like this, but you see a guy in Belal Muhammad who's, been offered this opportunity to now fight against the guy who's, third ranked in the division. And when you look at the other side of the scale, you have a guy on Leon Edwards who's just trying to stay active, who was once, basically in a position where he had to fight a guy who was unranked in his division, or he was going to get stripped of his ranking in the division, in the company. It's a very, 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 very weird. There's a lot riding on this fight for both men, that's for sure. obviously more pressure being on a guy like Leon Edwards coming off, looking good, trying to, make sure he's the guy that's getting that next title shot. I think Belal Muhammad definitely has a chance at winning this fight. I think, in fact, both guys have similar, fighting, incorporating aspects, styles, and I think that, they both mesh together everything very seamlessly. I think, Belal being more that striker, he's not concerned with eating the huge shots as much. He's never been finished throughout his career. He's only been dropped a couple of times, and he is as game as they get. His strong wrestling and clinch positions, he's just able to be successful in. I think Edwards, being the guy who's had a ton of questions surrounding him as far as, the time off, now having gone through COVID, that being a completely different issue. I see this being, an even fight for the opening couple rounds at least, maybe even in the opening 3, the opening 2. I do see Edwards pulling away later on in the fight in kind of around 3, 4, and 5 with his shot selection and with his grappling strength, but I could be wrong. I think Edwards selects range very well when choosing when to throw the right strikes, when looking to, even if they do start grappling, when to go in for clinches and stuff like that. You just never see anything very much forced. Defensively, he moves very well, but it's a fight that's just so damn close. And, even when the odds come up here and I see the odds, I'd probably be, if the odds are if they aren't as close as I think they are, or it's not as close of a fight as I'm making it sound, I will definitely be going with the guy who's the underdog odds. But I will be taking Leon Edwards to win this fight, but I'll be throwing some chalk around because I do think this is a close fight. But I will be taking Leon Edwards to win this fight via decision.
Just for one thing you said there, Belal has been finished one time before. Okay. He got knocked out by Vicente Luque.
Got it. Round. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But since then, he's survived to decision with a guy like Geoff Neal. That was bad voice crack. But he survived to a decision with a guy like Geoff Neal, which is good. Man, I really like both these guys. I think these are two top welterweights with insanely technical, sharp striking, which is something I really look for. Both of them definitely check all the boxes when it comes to being top guys. In this fight, though, I'm going to go with Belal because I think styles make fights. And although Leon is the more overall skilled guy, and I think he fits at the top division, he can fight anybody in that division, and he would be competitive, if not win all of those fights. But in this case, I think it's a pretty clear striking match. I think if there is a grappling advantage, I might even give the wrestling advantage to Belal. But you're coming off inactivity in Leon. Belal's as active and he's as hyped up as they come right now. So I think we're going to see Belal come out there with a pretty good start. I think he's got the cardio. I think it definitely goes the distance. I think Belal doesn't have to worry about the big shot coming back like he might have had to against a Vicente Luque or Geoff Neal because Edwards isn't much of a finisher. So I think it goes the distance. I think this... I could see this round split either way, but I see Belal getting the faster start, and that's what it comes down to. So I think Belal's going to get the faster start in this one, and that's what's going to carry through to a decision win for Belal Muhammad.
Very good. Very good, Dan.
Yeah, I'd be interested if Belal was able to get off
crazy line
a quick start, and maybe capitalize on those first rounds. It would be very interesting if he was, because we kind of often see Leon go for those 2 rounds off the bat. That was his strategy against the RDA, obviously, because obviously, that's different. Specifically targeted at RDA more because he's not very good comeback fighter. But the thing that scares me about Leon Edwards is how good he looked in that RDA fight, when on paper RDA should have posed him a lot of problems. It's not necessarily, obviously he was able to defend some of Kamaru's takedowns early when they fought, but he was like controlling RDA in the clinch. And obviously we haven't seen RDA have as much success at welterweight as we did at lightweight, so we don't need to get
he gave him a good slam in the later rounds. Leon did. He put RDA on his back pretty good.
That's what I'm saying.
That was a great performance from Leon.
We've seen Leon evolve, and like this amount of time not seeing him, I don't think we're gonna see a guy I don't think we're gonna see like, I don't know, not just because he literally says it himself. I don't believe in ring rust. Like I just don't I think he's a guy that's obviously people can get down on him for maybe like not taking certain fights, but Who
I mean, you got to feel for him because he was the guy who had the gift of that Tyron Woodley fight that Burns got, where he looked like a superstar, even though Woodley might be a bit past his prime. You know, he was the first one to crack that, and Leon was scheduled to have that, and that was the first card canceled because of COVID.
Exactly.
So if COVID had extended for another week.
Pretty much the
Leon
first
goes
card
in there,
after the
destroys Tyron Woodley. Let's be honest here. We all know how that fight goes.
Yeah.
He would have destroyed Tyron Woodley. He would have probably got himself a title shot off that one. What do you know?
Doug's basically saying there would have been
probably not.
Usman
But
Burns.
obviously there was a really tough situation in UK, not being able to train for the first bit too. But
I'm saying it would have taken Burns a little bit longer to get to the top. We wouldn't have seen the welterweight division play out the way it did 100%.
I agree with you. We would have probably seen Edwards Burns. You know what I mean? Edwards Usman instead of Edwards versus Burns for sure.
Yeah. And I would definitely be interested. I think Edwards versus Usman was a closer fight than people remember.
Yeah, it was.
I think Edwards might pose the biggest stylistic challenge to Usman right now, especially if they've both gotten better. I would be interested to see that fight again if Leon puts on a good performance in this one.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as much as I'd love to bet Belal, and I'll definitely probably have at least something wrapped up. And I'm just because of my pure fandom for the guy. He's a great guy in general. Obviously, I love watching like his game show thing that he does and stuff. I don't know if anybody else hasn't checked that out. It's pretty good. He gets some pretty good
show.
Pretty good UFC guys to come on. Just gets in their DMs and obviously knows a bunch of guys. But I don't like when a lot of the times recently I've loved these guys that are active. I don't like it in this instance. I don't think that it's gonna play. I don't think it's gonna be the super active guy versus the ring rust guy. If it's good, I don't. How quickly can your calf heal?
That's what he took a shitload of. He walked through a shitload of hard shots too, eh? Like Leon Edwards was watching those fights. I'm pretty sure we saw him in the tweets too that night or whatever. He was like tweeting and shit, and he was popping up in the fucking tweets. So we knew he was watching the fights.
Yeah, like Leon obviously sees that he's gonna take advantage if he has it, and like.
But Belal's also not stupid. He wouldn't put himself in this position if he was compromised.
I would. If it was me, I would. If it was me, I would.
He's a tough
if it was me, I'd say
this is a position. Yeah. This is a position that's This is a no loss position for him.
Yeah, no loss. Agreed.
This is one of those.
To lose.
Yeah, he's not a guy with an unblemished record. He's put himself out there, being the badass that he is.
Yeah,
taking this chance. I think he's not gonna be getting. I don't think he's gonna get crumpled with a single leg kick, but I think it's not going to take as many to compromise that leg as it normally would. And I think it'll probably be compromised by the second round. And if he doesn't have those 2 rounds banked, he may go down late, or he'll just be too easy to pick apart for a guy like Leon. And I don't think Belal will be. I don't think. While Belal may be the better offensive wrestler, I don't think he will be able to take Leon down.
I don't think he plans to, though. I don't think we're going to see many intentional wrestling exchanges.
I think we may see some takedowns in the third, fourth round once that leg's a bit fucked up.
Yeah, if there is,
and I think we're going to try and see him in the clinch, trying to maybe go back between the single leg, double leg, mix it up. All this, just try and grind Leon out. I just don't think he'll be able to do it. We'll see Leon catch him with some of these elbows, breaking from the clinch, and. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a close fight. But Leon, close. I think Leon's going to earn his title shot.
So do I. But I have no problem with throwing some cash on Belal.
Absolutely. At 3-1, I think it's
no issue with that. Like, no issue with that. And the guy's coming off all this time off. I do love Leon Edwards. I do have him picked, but I have no problem. Like, if you go down, like, Belal by decision, 4.5.
I just stay straight up, just in case. You never know. It's enough value there for me, 3-1.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, man.
It'll be interesting what the boost is, too, but
I think we know what the boost is going to be. The top 3 favorites, isn't it always?
Yeah, I'm just curious what the value is, what they're going to boost it up to more so. I think I added them together. It's around 4-1 if they boost up to 5. I'll be definitely making, let's see, I wonder what a Team Canada parlay is. Curious.
Yeah, see here, look at Ryan Cup popping up here. Yeah, we're gonna open this. I'm gonna open this lineup here in a second. If anyone wants to join, Jay, if you want to come bring in some shit, we're gonna do some banter. We're gonna talk some shit, kind of like how we always do. I'll just post it.
They're already cooking up a parlay in there, I think.
Who, Dan?
Looks like it, yeah.
He's always cooking something up. He just never
always cooking, always.
No, I'm just up to Team Canada.
Just finished. Ryan just said just finished watching Spann versus Walker. Ryan Spann just quits. I like Misha a lot now.
Oh, yeah, I think Misha's one of my more confident.
Yeah, the cardio's gonna. I think the cardio plays into
it. 5 to 1 on that Team Canada parlay. Roll up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's 5 to 1 on the Team. If you pick all 3 Canadians, 5 to 1. I like that. The one. What if you take out Tucker and you swap it? Like, say you fucking.
Well, he's the biggest dog in it.
True.
Or should I do? I could do. Wait, what the hell? Why did I pick Rani? I misclicked there. Well, let's take the same odds, but we could do Jourdain stoppage.
Yeah, what's that? But what's the parlay now? Does it have Ige instead?
No.
But it still has Buddy? It still has
7.93 now.
Okay, so that could be like our bet your way for the week. Canadian bet your way.
Charles Air, Jourdain, Misha cirkunov.
Except they never put, Betway never puts like a finish in
the
their
governor
in their thing. You know what I mean?
What?
It's a Betway doesn't put finishes in it.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. So that's kind of.
I don't know. I definitely think this is a huge opportunity for Gavin Tucker, and I think he's not a spring chicken either. It's like he could definitely make the most of this opportunity on Saturday. Yeah. I'd love it. I think it's pretty much going to be the 2 fights. I'm pretty much going to have hedged that fight in the main event.
Yeah, absolutely. People, we got a great card coming up though. Like, I mean, we're going to continue to look at these numbers, especially when we get new numbers. We obviously will go live and do that. Do it all kind of like that. Like I normally do here, people. I'm gonna play the outro. We're not going to end it. I've already posted the link for anyone that does want to come join and kind of join in on the banter, give their opinion on, last week's card, we haven't talked about 259 yet. So we'd love to, definitely go over some stuff, talk about some stuff right now and, crack into some stuff. So I appreciate everyone for coming out as per usual. We are still trying to make this climb up to 100 subscribers and 50 followers on Twitch. So please come help me out. That way that, really appreciate with growing the channel and being, letting us do a little bit more with it. I'm going to play the outro now, but obviously you guys know the banter's coming after. Check back if you just got in late now. Check back tomorrow morning early because I'll have the timestamps in the video. So you can just go through and click to listen to every, so it's all split up and stuff like that in case you don't want to listen to the whole thing all the way through. As well as mentioning just really quickly the Angela Hill, Ashley Yoder fight. We obviously broke that down for any of you that were here 2 weeks ago that was supposed to be, and then that ended up last minute getting pushed. So that video will also be linked in the description. And then you'll be able to kind of just go and click over that, even though we're all still on Yoder. But if you do want a full breakdown as far as going over, history, a couple of fights, us kind of breaking down that first fight that was between the two of them, that's going to be back there. That's back in the archives, and that will be linked in the description. Appreciate you guys for coming out. We are not ending it. We are still going with the banter, but I appreciate everybody.
Medic! Scalpel. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this Gloria's Day. And a friend.
You aren't duping the doctor. I mean, the doctors look into your eyes.
Jeez, and the fight is over! Michael Chandler! What did I tell you fools?
What's up, boys and girls? This is UFC lightweight Michael Chandler. I'm just telling you right now, if you don't go to YouTube and hop on the MMA Bet Surgeon channel, like and subscribe and ingest and digest some of the best UFC mixed martial arts and boxing predictions on the planet, on the internet, then you're doing it wrong. Appreciate you guys. See you at the top.
I'm going to go ahead real quick, take a leak. You guys started off here. I'm gonna go take a leak real quick though. It's been 2 hours plus. I gotta drain it.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for this fight card. Last week's fight card's still on everybody's mind. This whole Jan Sterling drama has gone on and continued with Sterling putting a little fuel on the fire by posting the Cejudo call out to troll the Russian fans who have nonstop let him have it.
Ooh, that's a nice, delicious bowl there.
Yeah, no, I had mine during that
I heard it.
Outro there. It's fantastic.
I think we should. I think we may start doing this little post breakdown, little weekly news wrap up, kind of banter session. We should have some sort of name for it, like bowls and banter or something like that.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
Copyright it.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I'm always down to talk about more fights.
Yeah, no, it's just.
But I mean, we got fair. I mean, nobody's really been talking anything other than this about anything other than this Jan Sterling drama. This is all I've seen anywhere on Twitter. No, this whole we've seen John Jones do his usual trolling of Izzy. I mean, we expected that. Izzy's taken the loss really well. You got to give him credit for that, but. I mean, for a week where Israel Adesanya, a big superstar, was handed his first loss, the whole discussion has been about this bantamweight fight.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the only way he could have handled it, though, right? Like, how else is Adesanya, as a guy who's at the end of the day still a champion in the UFC? Like, he got bested by the better man on the night. Is pretty much the only way he could take it, in my opinion. But yeah, I'd say it's more so that the focus isn't on how impressive Jan was, but but the back and forth between those two. But yeah, it's probably one of the biggest.
I rewatched the fight
back and
already.
forth since Jones and Adesanya on Twitter, pretty much. So like they're both like, yeah.
Wow, you already rewatched today. That's
I rewatched
shit.
the
I
fight,
like that.
the Jan versus Sterling fight already. I think it was a lot closer than people remember.
Yes, man, that's what I'm fucking saying. I got to rewatch it though.
Okay, Jan was going to win the fight. If it had continued, make no mistake about it, Jan was going to win the fight.
Mm-hmm.
That being said,
it's MMA.
Sterling gets the opportunity to make a lot of
But you also can't necessarily say that. You never know what's going to happen in that fifth and final round.
You're right.
Obviously, right. Do we know for a fact that it would have been Jan demolishing him if he continued? Yes, because that is a compromised fucking fighter. Should never even been in the position to have to make the decision for himself or like all that. Like UFC, like
well, there's also a question of I mean, you could deduct a point for that.
Yeah, 1 point's not enough. That's 2 points. It should be 2 points.
You could argue for it. That's a 2 point deduction if anything's ever worth it.
No, the fight has to be over.
I think the fight absolutely had to be stopped. The DQ was the only decision.
There's no bang bangs in that scenario. It's not a split second decision. He had time to stand there, analyze it.
And I'm glad we had a good ref and Spitfire in there. You can always trust Mark Smith knows what he's doing in there. He's
Spitfire.
A professional.
He's been through some shit. He's Spitfire.
Oh yeah.
How's it going, Jay Blues?
Yeah, what's going on, Jay?
What's up, fellas? What's up?
Stir fry.
Yeah, man, it was delicious. I just ate some more of that shit.
Is it on rice stir fry or is it noodles? What is it?
He sent what was in it. You didn't see it?
You didn't say if it was noodles or not, though.
Oh. No. It's just meat. It's just steak.
There you go.
Just beef. But
so there's just the stir fry. There's no
the onions
not on anything.
The onions and the peppers are the fixings.
Nice.
Yes, I get that.
Gotcha.
But cool. I don't think that knee was that bad, man. I think honestly,
Jay Blues, let me hit you with one.
Get the fuck out of here, man. I've watched plenty of horrendous, fucked up ass knees and fucked up ass collisions in Pride. Yep. But they were more conditioned to take that shit because they trained it. That being said, come on, man. Come on, bro. He was getting caught flush and he was doing the zombie body. He was throwing everything and landing nothing in that same round that he caught that illegal knee. Like, shit was not going good for him. And I kept saying in the fucking round, he's about to get knocked out. He's about to get knocked out either later in this round.
Oh, yeah, that was his worst round by far, for sure. Yeah.
And then that shit happens, man. And then what's really making me say all this, bro? He takes pictures with the belts and talks about
he didn't post any of the shit,
my family I couldn't have a party after I fucking got illegally fucking kneed in the head and shit. It's just a bunch of crock of shit, man. It's a crock of shit.
Yeah, but Dougie, though, he did post the fucking shit with Henry Cejudo. He did say, maybe I'll do this fight next. I know, but still, no.
He said that was to piss off Russian fans, and I 100% believe him. He did that because everyone was spamming him, 100%.
Yeah, but I think that honestly, the thing you should be doing is you should just be going offline for like a week.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think he should have been posting.
Like, I don't think you should be going right back to your podcast and all this fucking shit. I think if you're actually like,
I don't like that he posted like a response video and is doing all these interviews and stuff. I think he should just take the time off 100%.
He did a podcast.
At the end of the day, you could at the same time the devil's advocate argument is saying all press is good press kind of thing. Like,
well, it's also it's gotta be hard to just sit there and watch everyone say this stuff about you. Daniel Cormier had said this morning something about him. It's saying to him, "Pick your battles."
Yeah, he's saying something on Hawaii about it.
Yeah, and Aljamain went back and said he is picking his battles. He's not just going to sit there while everybody goes at him. And I kind of understand it. I mean, it's got to be a lot. It's easy to sit back and say, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that." There's got to be a lot of adrenaline and emotions involved with something. I mean, that's the overall goal of his life that he just achieved, and it's in the worst way possible. And I mean, nobody can possibly believe that he feels like he achieved it. I mean, he said that time and time again. You can take all the pictures, you can do all the call-outs and stuff. I know he didn't achieve it. It's just,
I'd say he's the champion because
on paper,
because Peter Yan disqualified himself, not because he achieved it.
But I mean, he now has to live with that. He now has to live with another man's mistake. We're not talking about this if Yan doesn't throw that knee. If Yan just beats him, then we're talking about what a great performance Yan has and how he's going to rule the division for years to come. Instead, we're sitting here talking about Aljamain for some reason when Yan is the one who's an idiot and is the reason we're talking about this at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm absolutely in agreement with that like last point. But at the same, my main point is being you can be pissed off by the trolls, but that means you're looking at the trolls, aka you're on fucking line. If you have a concussion, you shouldn't be looking at your fucking phone. Get the fuck offline. Be with your family. Be with your friends. Like, never engage with the trolls. It's never a good idea. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your fucking nothing.
Absolutely, 100% agree. I don't think people should look at comments or anything like that. I think the social media is a terrible thing for a lot of people. I think it's a bad thing for mental health in general, let alone these people who have huge followings and receive mass criticisms like this.
Yeah, but like he is in many ways as he's going along too. He is like contradicting himself. Like, you can't be.
Well, the guy also might be concussed.
But Dougie, if you're concussed,
he's not thinking straight. Somebody needs to rein him in.
No. Concussion. You're not saying you can't think straight when you're concussed. But you should not be in front of a camera. And probably, if he's at any kind of decent with a setup with a camera, what's right behind it? A big bright light behind it. Like, all these things, like, doesn't make sense for a guy that has like a head injury. I'm not out here saying he has, but I'm saying if you want to try and feed fire to all these trolls, let's do exactly what fucking Aljo's doing. At the end of the day, will this fucking rematch be bigger because of it? Sure, but it's not like we're not going to think more.
I don't think many people are like interested in the result of the rematch.
I think there'll be fucking people watching that fight.
I mean, I'm interested in it because I think Aljo's going to make adjustments, but I think the more casual audience, I mean, you're seeing everyone say, "Oh, Yan destroyed him 100%."
Won't headline a pay-per-view.
He's going to walk through. I think they might.
It's a beautiful triple way up. It's like Peter Yan consistently earns himself the position as being this guy that should be put on pay-per-views, where there's 3 fucking title fights and he is the 3rd title fight kicking off the pay-per-view. If they do that again, there's something going on. There's something going on.
But I don't think it's just
Volkanovski's going to be on his 3rd title defense at least when he gets his first pay-per-view.
No, but I mean, yeah, it's true. You're right. I don't.
It happens in these. It happens.
Yeah. We may see that on a card with like Nunez. We probably see like Nunez.
Because there's been
honestly that'll be that. You know what I'm saying right now?
Rematch card in
like Dana White. That'll be on the same card with against Nunez versus the Venezuelan vixen
Juliana Pena
when she goes and makes her defense.
Well, there's been some talk. A couple of fans just asking for a speculation of a rematch card when they have the Moreno and Figueiredo rematch in July.
Oh shit! Yeah, throw that. There's the 3. There you go, Dougie. There's the 3, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
bang, bong.
It's done. Bing, bang, bong. We're calling it right
that's
now.
also assuming Aljamain gets cleared and stuff because he hasn't been cleared to compete again, and his medical suspension hasn't been handed out.
Did they even? They haven't even given a date.
Oh,
they
have you
haven't
been
even
taking
given
it
a
easy?
time
They're
for
going to
it.
be like, no, I felt fine. I was out filming videos the next day. Let's roll.
Hey, real quick, have y'all ever? Of course, you heard of Roy Jones Jr., right?
Yes.
Everybody know Roy Jones.
Yeah.
You ever heard of?
No, I'm just kidding.
You ever heard of? Y'all must forgot, man. You better fucking remember. Bro, have you ever seen the Montel Griffin fight?
Yeah, I've seen it. I just don't really remember it off the top of my head. I think I watched it last year, but not off the top of my head.
It was a close fight until later in the fight when Roy started getting to him, and he looked almost like Aljo in that last ninth round, just stumbling, lost, bro, like almost completely exhausted. And he took a knee, and Roy Jones, out of instinct, fired a right hand left hook, and he fell forward on his stupid face.
I'm assuming this is the first one.
Okay, no, wait. Before you guys start talking about that,
Roy Jones got disqualified and lost his title to this fool. And then 6 months later came back and about left hooked his face off in the first round. So expect Petroyan to come back with a fiery vengeance, bro, and destroy him.
I think so. I think he definitely will come back fiery.
Do you think he finishes him though?
Marks him.
He's gonna fucking try. He's gonna fucking try it.
Yeah, he'll try.
I mean, it's not like he wasn't trying this time.
But I don't
think Jan's going to change his style to all of a sudden become a first-round finisher. I think he's still going to have to do Jan's game plan. That's how he works.
If he wasn't pissed, really fucking pissed before, like, I don't know, man. If he gets too much emotion involved, he may divert from his game plan. I think that was his best fucking chance to beat Alejandro and Sterling. That may be the only fucking time he beats him. Like, as in beat him over those 4 rounds. I think. And maybe in some ways, Aljo wasn't. I don't know how much we can. Let's say taking him at his word, he said he didn't have the best weight cut. I think maybe he underestimated Peter Yan's grappling ability, and I think he could have had a better game plan himself. And even still, as we have to keep reminding people, he was ahead on one scorecard. Was he going into a bad point in that fight and losing that round pretty badly? Yeah. But it's not like he was getting beat like Adesanya, just getting beat. So
you got to wonder too if for the people who think he just quit. I mean, he knows there's probably going to be a point deduction if he keeps going. And as a fighter, I'm surprised actually we don't see more guys' egos take over and tell them they won the fight even though they clearly got dominated. We see it a few times, a lot more. Funny enough, in boxing, I think it'd be more in MMA. But a fighter's ego could take over. He might have thought he won the first 2 rounds and was up 2-1, and then a point deduction that round. I don't know, because people, just for the people who think he was faking it.
And I guess if he got a 2-point deduction on that, which I think is the only thing that's warranted, I don't think a 1 point would be.
But then he gets finished, probably.
Wait a second.
But he also gets 5 minutes to recover.
Are these John Mahal Hill's homies or just random
That's a
people?
big hit, though.
No, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, if he gets that 2-point swing, that could be the difference. That could be the difference. That's either a draw or it's a draw at least on one scorecard, split draw, or he gets the majority that way.
One way or another, I think
we'll
be seeing the rematch.
At the end of all these narratives, it's like he's not good. But
it's funny. I was talking about.
I think Aljo can win the
rematch before the fight, and I was like, oh, I don't know how we could see a rematch maybe down the line. It'd have to be a good fight. This isn't how I wanted a fucking rematch.
Pat, pull up the photo real quick. This is just what...
I just want to say something real quick. Let's finish this. Let's get off this topic.
Yeah,
we'll finish
Peter
this.
Yan tweeted this.
I saw that.
The caption, fake master.
That's pretty dope.
Funny.
There's no way he
edited it.
No way he edited that. Someone made that. Someone sent that to him.
I think I saw earlier Aljamain liked the tweet too.
It's a good fucking tweet.
The other day, it's promo.
Funny.
It's fucking funny. Promo. People were talking about it. Other people are talking about it. It's what's
no matter whose side you're on. That's funny.
The community since the fight. It's been So
we know that you guys obviously heard. That's pretty funny. It is good, eh? That's pretty funny. Yeah, but we got John Mahal Hill pulling out of his fight with OSP coming up soon.
Did you see his response to that when Paul Craig said he pulled out?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on.
I want to pull up this photo.
Well, he got COVID, I believe, but his response was that he never pulls out. He's got 6 kids, so he did not pull out of the fight. Don't use that term.
Apparently he was puking up blood. Dan,
oh my God,
showing just fucking stupid photos.
No, this is a good one.
Apparently on Jamal Hill's, listen to this. Apparently on Jamal Hill's Instagram, I should probably go on Instagram, make an Instagram account. He's just letting fans on to talk to him, like on Instagram Live. I just start interviewing him. Like he lets random people on. He's for 50 minutes. This guy's like, "What's up, man?" And the guy's like, "What's up, bro?" And he goes, the one guy goes, "I'm watching." He goes, "Shit, chilling. I just got this." Pans the camera around. This kid's, it's like a white kid, sitting, pulls down his knee. Obviously, just like had like ACL surgery or something, massive scar down his knee. He's just laying there. Jamal Hill's like, "Ew."
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's ACL.
Wow.
It's cool, man, though. That's cool. That's kind of class act shit. I want to get into that. I want to get in on that one time. Definitely. I'm thinking if that's a guy who's open, man, if that's a guy who's opening his Instagram up, that's a guy I should be able to contact and say, "Hey, man, you want to talk one day?"
So I'd like to point to this as proof that Khabib is retired. That guy right there weighs at least 200 pounds.
We've seen people blow up all the time, though. Like, have you seen? There's photos of Holloway where he looks pretty blown up. There's a bunch of photos of Cejudo blown up. I don't think it really means anything
because he's not fighting that man. He's not fighting that man.
Did you see the photo of Darren Till was posting in the beginning of quarantine? I think guys blow up outside of camp all the time. I think it just 100%. Happens.
But that's Exhibit A. Exhibit B is this question: how does Islam win a championship in the next 2 years if Khabib returns?
Well, he doesn't have to return for anything more than one more.
But I think that's what Khabib is saying. Slows down the whole system.
Dana's even just asking for just one more. I think Khabib. When he walked past him, he even asked him
turning into his father. He's
exactly. That's what. Hey, real quick. There's a picture of Khabib when he's like a teenager, right? And he's sitting next to his dad, and of course his dad's got that 1,000-yard mountain man fucking stare, right?
Yeah.
And fucking Khabib's like this cheerful, fucking crazy, wild-eyed kid. And if you fucking match up that picture, Khabib right there to Abdulmanap, bro, he's got his dad's. He became his. He took on his dad's temperament, man. He like his dad transferred that intense drive to him to the point where he literally looks like his father now. It's beautiful. He's replaced him in the genetic fucking line.
Oh yeah, and I don't think he could possibly have the time to be both the pound for pound GOAT and continue this thing, and at the same time give attention to like all those guys lost their head coach, their main guy, like they're especially in a father figure to many of them.
At the end of the day, I'm not saying he's gone or not gone yet. I don't know what's on his mind. I'm just saying I don't think this photo tells me anything.
Oh yes, it does. It tells me everything. It's the mental and physical transformation. Come on, to end American cheeseburgers. What are you gonna go eat after this fight? Bunch of steak and American cheeseburgers, Diet Coke.
I'm not gonna pretend I'm a body language expert.
Well, I am unofficially plastic surgeon.
Okay, yeah, no.
And check this out. There's this fucking look, bro. There's this Ghost Rider stare, like murderous, ravenous, fucking like. He looked like a wild animal when he was still fighting, man. That dude looks like a fat old farmer that's happy to tend to his field.
I think
fuck out of my face. He's done.
I think he's just meeting with Dana because he honestly probably likes having dinner with the guy. Probably getting some opportunities for some of his guys. Getting fucking maybe, I don't know, his fucking Eagle FC on Fight Pass. Who knows? Probably making
Sunday night deals. He was going, give Islam everything. Tony.
And at the end of the day, his fucking name is still on the top of that pound for pound list. Would it be if they weren't having those chats? I say no.
I think it still would be. It's fucking ridiculous.
As soon as the chats cease.
No, because I think
J Bones. No. Joey Bones has to be on top for when he fights the strap.
Yeah, John Bones taking that shit back. I hope you know that.
I agree.
He never lost it, but yeah.
I still want to, like, obviously we're talking way
the
ahead of
UFC
time
took
here
it away,
too.
but the UFC's rankings have always
I think
been
Stipe
useless.
will win, but we're still gonna see. We still got to see soon. Not next week,
though, man.
Not this week. Sorry, but next week.
That's Stipe's
right?
pound for pound. But I'm saying, but going into that fight, they're gonna have to make him pound for pound to elevate it.
Oh,
I just thought about something.
Brunson versus Holland next week. Oh,
that's a good fight.
I like Brunson in that one a lot. I'm surprised he's the underdog.
I do not. Why? Why do you like Brunson?
I don't see I don't see Holland being a top guy.
Why?
I think he's more of like he's good and explosive, but I think Brunson's a little bit better than people are giving him credit for. He always gets that gatekeeper role. I think he's as good a gatekeeper as you're going to find, and I'm not sure Holland gets past
perfect
as good a gate as he is. Yeah, I don't know.
He's been past the gate. He just hammer-fisted fucking Jacare Souza in the fucking face.
That's true.
Yeah,
Jacare is the fucking gatekeeper to the top 5.
He hasn't been around for a while.
This is a move back. He should have been.
He was moving up.
He should have fought Brunson in January.
Up and down, though.
Knocked his ass out.
He's got no. Jacare's got no career path right now. He's going up to 205. He's coming back down. I was impressed by the finish. Like I said, he's super explosive. He could just starch Derek Brunson and make me eat my fucking words.
I don't necessarily say he's going to starch him, but and you know why he's going to fuck him up?
Why?
Because the amount of shit he's been talking, and he's a guy, and I think, and I watched, and I don't know, I'm like fucking, because I'm also not only a body language expert, I'm a psychoanalyst, and when he's a guy, like, he likes to have something like some chip on his shoulder, and he likes this back and forth between them, and he likes building up all this shit and building up all this, I'm gonna make you another one of my sons, I'm gonna son your ass kind of thing, like, to put that pressure on him, because I don't think that's what I'm saying. It's a fight stepping backwards. Jacare versus, like, who did you take Jacare versus Brunson, even despite his ass just getting knocked out like that? I'm taking Jacare.
Wait, Jacare's already fucking beat Brunson.
That's what I'm saying after that knockout. Even after that knockout.
Oh yeah, I'd still take.
Wait, like now, who would I take?
I'd still take Jacare. I'd still take Jacare.
Fucking yeah.
I hope that Derek Brunson does not come in with the fully blonde dyed top, or this could be different. This could be a
no. That only works the first time. That only works the first time. That only works the first time, though.
They always
works the first time. Only works the first time. Yeah.
No, that's bullshit.
Who's it failed for the second time?
I don't know. I don't think we've ever seen someone do it twice.
It's more so the change up, though. I think it's more so the change. It's because, but at the same time, it's not. It's not been that successful because we have Tony. Well, that's the shaved head. It's completely different.
Yeah,
the baldy Ed move has not been the best move.
No.
Yeah, like Connor did it, got fucked. Like
Tony did it, got fucked.
Tony looks sick. He looks sickly. Like,
he just looks weird. That's why they call him.
He's always kind of looked like that. Yeah. He's Tony.
Dude, he looked extra mushy.
He
looked like a grape.
I mean, he's getting older. Shit happens.
I don't know.
No. Justin Gaethje fucking took a piece of his soul.
Oh, dude, he took.
Well, yeah, I mean,
all of
that happens when you take something like that.
Khabib said it best.
It was too late though, too. Like, it was, what are you gonna do when you go through a loss like that super late in your career? Fucks you. You have to really like.
I wish we could play this video, but we'd get fucking.
I still swear by the double weight cut being like Ali Holmes and Tony having no fucking core strength, and he still
made it even worse. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what fucked him up.
Yeah, it was stupid as fuck. But whatever, man. This pride will definitely kill you, and that's where you see a guy like Tony Ferguson doing dumbass shit, and sometimes it kills him. So hopefully he makes a rebound. But like I said, you go through a loss that late in your career like that, man, it's really hard to rebound. Really fucking hard to rebound.
I think them booking him versus Makhachev would be an interesting fight to see, but I think it's some of the cruelest matchmaking you could do.
If they booked him versus
Makhachev, I like either him versus Makhachev or him versus Dariush. I saw DC tweet that earlier, and I like that.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Actually, that's a good fight. Dariush finally gets a name that gets him in there too.
Fucking, what are you putting up here, Dan?
What is this? I tweeted this to you guys earlier. This is the LFA card we got this weekend.
Oh shit.
Well, here, you want Topology? Just throw it up on Topology.
Okay.
Here, do you want me to hide your screen while you do it?
Sure, okay. You can just keep that there or whatever.
I know. I'm not going to remove it. Why is the LFA card really good? Because it's the
it's called the undefeated.
Was it an LFA 100?
Bunch of fucking no.
I thought it was LFA. Okay, so LFA 100 already passed then.
I thought it just did, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Hey, real quick, has anybody ever seen two opponents getting ready to fight that had the exact same record? Belal Muhammad and Leon Edwards are both 18-3 now.
Yeah, I thought I was going to highlight that.
Wait a second. Favorite big underdog this weekend before we go into the LFA card from Ryan. Rojo. I gotta think. The Canadians was Tucker technically the biggest underdog?
Is it an undefeated person in every single fight? I guess it has.
Dan. Answer the question real quick.
What favorite big underdog for this weekend?
I picked Muhammad.
Yeah,
even though I didn't pick him.
I didn't
Main
pick
event
Belal,
Muhammad.
Yeah.
His mindset.
Now it's just swapping.
But like,
I'm actually picking Jourdain.
He said big. He said big underdog, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think what other big underdogs. Not Yoder.
Like I'm just thinking about what could be super close. Oh yeah, what was the one that I said that could be super
Ray
close?
Ray Rodriguez. You said you were gonna take a stab at him.
Really? Did I say I was going to?
I don't think Davey Grant's gonna be able to get it done. Yeah, I think Muhammad's definitely got the best value as far as those big underdogs go.
What's the underdog value on Nicolau? Like, do you know that, Doug?
Not really. He's only 2.2.
Plus 110, I think. Not great.
True. I hear that. I mean,
sorry, I'm pulling up the.
Yeah, pull up the LFA 100. Sorry. But Ryan, I'm gonna tag up the whole video for you, brother, so you can go back and look later. So you can look at what we're talking about because we pull up the odds and go through it. I know you tuned in a little bit later. We'll go to the top. I just want to see the top of the card first. I'm not even knowing these people low down the card.
Okay, they got actually 2 undefeated guys. Which 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. 0-0. I don't know if that's actually.
Wow.
That person's defeated right there. 6-2. I know who AJ Nichols is.
That's the only name that I recognize.
Click him. Click his thing. Click his thing where he was from. Yeah, we were. I think Ryan. I think you timed in for the Belal for the final picks. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that we'll be throwing money on Belal. Just looking at that line for sure.
Maybe it's not who I fucking thought it was. I don't think it's who you thought it was either. FCF.
Why? Where did he fight?
FCF, Rage in the Cage, HD MMA. Yeah, I don't fucking think so. I don't think we watched the cut any of that.
Rage in the Cage sounds fucking dope.
It's probably just some smaller promotion. I think they're all pretty good. They're all like fucking little sweet little promotions.
It's an interesting little shtick to go with.
Sounds like the name of a pay-per-view.
I think the combined fights on this card's like probably like fucking 50. Fucking that's.
Wait, so, but
no, I'm just kidding. That's good.
What? But what is? Yeah, what the? Whatever, man. What day is that on?
It's Friday.
What time is it at though? Like Friday night?
9 Eastern. Yep.
Beautiful. I'm gonna throw that on. Probably can't bet on it though, eh?
Probably if you get it on early enough. It's probably one of those if you wait and try and like live bet it during the card and you get fucked.
Like, is it up right now? It's technically 2 days from now. I don't even know if Betway has LFA odds though. That's the only problem.
Seen some pretty crazy shit. Don't think they have it right now though.
They don't. They got Bellator. They got KSW. Who's on the KSW card and when is the KSW card? It's not even on tap.
KSW is way crazier than fucking LFA, so that's why.
KSW, I can't even fucking watch. It's impossible to get. It's all in like German
Poland
and shit.
Or
it's like
some
Poland
shit.
Or wherever the fuck it is. It's impossible to watch.
Somewhere in like fucking
impossible to watch. But I mean, people, we pretty much wrapped up a lot of shit. We talked about a lot of shit. gone through the whole card unless there's any.
I'm just gonna skim through our.
You could even skim through the news. I was kind of reading some of the news, like obviously, like
you hear about Junior and Overeem, bro?
Yeah. We talked about that on.
During the we already mentioned Megan Anderson's contract is up too.
Yeah, that was.
Not sure what her next move is.
Yeah,
I think she'll go to PFL and she'll be a ragdoll first for Kayla, and then when she's super fucked up, right after that, they'll feed her right to
Clarissa.
1-2 combo, ping ping. Because I think she needs to get nice and beat up even more from Kayla first. It gets some sort of like fucking.
It actually makes so much sense. It's
against
crazy.
Megan Anderson.
It actually makes so much sense. It's crazy. It actually makes so much sence.
I just know what's gonna happen. I just
know. But Doug, how much sense does that make to eventually give?
She'll be like, oh, I could go win $1 million and beat her. Yeah, right. Think about it. If Felicia did that to her, made Felicia look like a fucking.
Yeah, you're so right. Yeah, and then the same thing happens with fucking thing. Yeah, you're right. Dan's absolutely not wrong. Because pretty much what we saw with Felicia Spencer happened, but worse with Amanda Nunes, right, and even quicker. So. But yeah, Dan's right. They'll eventually feed her to Clarissa.
She would actually be good meat for Clarissa. She would.
It's perfect. Well, no, it's just beautiful because then if you eventually do get her. If you do get her to the point where you can have her like that, maybe a little bit more beat up, a little bit more seasoned, as I'm going to put it, because I think that's a little better way to put it. A little bit more seasoned, and you get her like Clarissa her later. It could look good on Clarissa's resume.
Elbows or
it's even just people look at it through comparison, right? Oh, you beat her, maybe Clarissa goes in there and fucking knocks her out on the hands and feet, some shit like that. I don't know.
No, it'd be perfect. Oh, then Clarissa's got a win over a girl that contended.
That's what I mean. Yeah, no, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
There's not that many girls that fight at 145.
No.
PFL has that division. I don't think Bellator even has that 145 division.
Does Invicta have it?
Oh, it's pick your poison. It's either go be beat for fucking Kayla and Clarissa, or hey, Cyborg, how's it going?
Oh my god,
dude! What if she ended up getting knocked out? Or what if she fought Amanda and then went over and got just schmammered by fucking Cyborg? I said, fuck the LFA, went the other route.
I don't know who I'd rather fight though. It's very close. I think I'd rather fight Cyborg because
Cyborg the first fight, bro.
No,
where was she the champion? Was she the Invicta champ or the?
I'd rather fight fucking Cyborg. The off chance I just get clipped instantly and get knocked out, because Kayla is just gonna fucking beat the shit.
Where was she the champion? Why doesn't she go back there?
Oh, go back to Invicta? No.
That's not how it works, though. It can't work like that.
You might as well just retire and go just do some Twitch streaming or something. You start up an OnlyFans.
She already has one. She already has one. That's a rhetorical question when she already has one. Rhetorical.
She does?
Yes, Megan Anderson does have one. No, I don't have OnlyFans, man. Don't fucking put that on me live.
You knew that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because I've done research. It was going to be a talking point for one of the things as a joke. It was going to be a talking point as one day. I was going to go into it. It was because I thought it was fucking hilarious. I had a bunch of names written out. I was like, this. I did the research on it. It's hilarious. Obviously, the Reddits were kind of talking about it. You can't even post the photo. Like, you can't see those photos, though. You have to pay for them, right? So... But people are like, they'll be like, yeah, it's this, and this, right? Because obviously a bunch of girls have it. Now, like Claudia Gadelia has it. Felice Herrig has it because she got like pestered into doing it, but she only.
Claudia Gadelia?
I mean, if I was a chick and I could get paid to post the same shit that I post on fucking Instagram, I'd do it too.
Yeah,
that's what those fucking girls are doing.
What's this, Dan? What are you showing right now?
Claudia's bad, man.
This is the 15-year anniversary of Strikeforce.
Damn, what Gracie is that?
It is it's fucking, is it Horian?
Is that the dude that fucking married into the Gracie family?
I think it's Neiman. It's Neiman Gracie, right?
That was Horian.
You thought it was who?
Horian Gracie.
Ooh.
Daniel Pewter was on the card. Daniel Pewter ended up going.
Who was it though? Look it up though. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Fucking WWF and shit.
I don't know why the names wouldn't be on there.
Well, because old school.
Josh Thompson's on the card.
All it was.
Yeah, Josh Thompson.
Wait, was it UFC 5?
No, Strike Force won. It's a weird photo of Shamrock, too. Doesn't even really fucking look like him.
Caesar Gracie.
Okay. Interesting. We had Merab Dvalishvili versus Cody Stamen announced today for the UFC event on May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a good fight.
What time is there? What time are weigh-ins tomorrow? MD, what's going on, brother?
Usually around noon, right?
Figgy versus Askarov going to be fight of the century.
Figgy versus Askarov? What a take, FD. How's it going, brother?
How's it going?
Yeah, it's a hell of a take. I could see that turning into something crazy indeed. So you're sleeping on you don't like Moreno's chances, I guess, in the rematch.
No, I think Moreno gets slept.
Slapped? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Mexican Shin is unbreakable, Pat.
I think he goes night-night in the rematch. I think Figueiredo feels like he was like, maybe this guy, I shouldn't have been fucking thinking I was going to wheelhouse through this guy as well.
I'll definitely take him more seriously.
Yeah, after basically going through cream of la crop, Joseph Benavidez twice.
Maybe his fucking entire approach won't even be on the feet, maybe.
Exactly. Could even be to tire him out and just fucking pound him, just posture up and beat the fuck out of him.
The whole fight.
Yeah. Or
you already know he has a beautiful game there. He just doesn't. He just loves to beat motherfuckers up because he has that size too. He has that power.
Oh yeah.
It's only few people who he hasn't been able to take away. It's pretty much just like him, Pantoja. Obviously, yeah.
Have you seen Dana White talking about betting the 1 million? Obviously, we haven't talked about. We don't actually. I'm not betting it. I'm not talking about it. We haven't talked about it once. And we will continue to not talk about it. We will continue to not talk about it.
No mentions.
You want to talk about Shoeface, Pat?
Oh yeah, Shoeface is basically gonna enter into the tournament, into the PFL tournament, and win. It's my new. He's been smurfing. He's been smurfing for the last couple of years.
Of all time. There'll be movies about Shoeface in like 5 years.
Shoeface.
Yep. You'll remember one day, big. Oh, didn't I remember hearing about Shoeface? What's that? Nah, it's just all jokes. The guy sucks. He's a waste.
The bluntness of the end of that.
I like PFL is just like I think I love it. My favorite thing is like PFL is literally gonna like eclipse Bellator in probably like a year and a half.
That's kind of sad, eh? Fuck.
How so?
Neil Hall passed away, eh? I'm just looking at the photos of him now. Fucking.
I was gonna say I love it. It's not sad at all if Bellator gets fucking diminished. It gets put into like some sort of third, fourth level MMA organization.
What are you talking about? Okay, we're gonna fucking wrap. We're gonna start to wrap this bitch up, people. I appreciate everybody coming out. Be prepared. Like I said, Bill will be time stamped either tonight or tomorrow morning. Probably looking like more so tomorrow morning. I haven't been much of a fan. MD, you know we'll wait up for you. I haven't been much of a fan of Leon Edwards ever since Masvidal gave him the 3-piece in a soda. I hope he gets smashed. Man, it's going to be an exciting fight. I think it's definitely going to be a barn burner. I like that you're rolling with us as far as, because we do agree that there is value on, main event Belal, main event Muhammad. As far as him being able to, pull this fight in deep. I think Leon's going to win? Yeah. Am I going to be throwing some money on Belal? Absolutely. Everybody, I appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate all you guys hopping on the panel and coming out as per usual.
Hey, Pat, you going live Friday?
Absolutely, man. Your link. Right. I'll send you a link. Oh, I mean Friday for what? I mean Saturday.
Oh, I didn't know if you're going to go live for LFA or not.
Could be more of a casual one.
Maybe it might be more of a casual one. We just kind of sit around and talk and shit.
Shoot the shit.
Maybe Dougie's hosting live.
Yeah, I could host one on my channel.
Yeah,
sure.
Doug, yeah, you host one.
We'll definitely be posting something. Everybody, if you keep your eyes tuned, either on.
I'll be posting it. Whatever Twitter. I'll blast it out. Yeah, I'll be blasting it out.
Dougie on Twitter.
Yeah, at DD Sire, DDSYER.
I have it right here. I think.
Subscribe to Dougie. Subscribe to J Blues. Everybody hit the like button.
It's not the same as your Twitter. I just have your.
Should be a great.
We'll have LJ back on Saturday.
Oh no, we'll have him back on Saturday.
You still have Vegas misspelt at the bottom.
We were drinking, man. Fuck off, bro. Okay, I'm ending this motherfucker. It was a late night, man. Well, it was a late night.
I think these Wednesday breakdowns for LJ, I think obviously understandably with his
time
zone.
Of course, with work and shit in the middle of the night. Yeah,
I think he liked coming out when he could, but it's understandable. Well, obviously you got to see his beautiful pics live, and I'm sure he'll be there at least some point.
Yeah.
There's no BKFC this weekend, though, eh? Like, there's no BKFC, right?
Not until April, man.
Are you kidding me?
Till April? Wow.
That's kind of shit, man. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm sad, bro. I want another Knucklemania, goddammit.
I do. Shit. On a Friday night, I'll fucking sit and watch Knucklemania. Absolutely. It was a good
100%. That was a great time.
Yeah.
We don't have any 1FC this week either.
Okay, so it's pretty much just LFA Friday night. I might actually be I could watch some LFA Friday night, especially if the lines pop up. You're telling me I get to start throwing around money on people I don't have no idea about? That's my favorite thing to do, because then that's truly gambling. That's when you're just doing the look test. That guy's going to win for sure. You know what I mean? You're watching highlights.
He's got this one.
You're looking at his topology. Yeah, that guy's a lock. Yeah, and you lose all your money the night before. Okay, people, I appreciate all you guys coming out, man. It's been a good time.
Have a good one. See y'all Saturday.
I'll email you it all.
Yeah, peace out, everybody.
Yeah, man. Take it easy, man.